Hi. Well, my hair's acting or my deal's acting crazy. Ooh, I don't know what was going on with that, but hello. So, how's everybody doing tonight? It's good to see you. We have a special guest tonight. I'm very excited. Just got to talk to him backstage a little bit, kind of getting to know him. He's such a sweet guy, just nice, normal, great people. Um, we're gonna try to get to some questions and stuff too. I don't know if we're gonna be able to do it. I don't have anybody that is backstage on any kind, it keeps popping her back off is what I'm trying to say. I gotta open my coffee. Sorry. You hear the noise. I'm sitting here going, "Where is my drink?" But anyway, he is welcome to questions, and we've decided that no topic is off limits. I mean, if he doesn't want to answer something, he'll just tell you. So we're just gonna chat like friends, and I'll try to include you all in as much as I can, and I'm gonna go ahead and bring him on. So give me just a second to get him on here, and we will get to Sammy or Casper, whatever he There we
Sammy's good.
go.
Yeah.
Sammy's good.
Casper's like my old street like thug name, my
Uh-huh.
prison bad guy
Yeah.
name.
Oh, no. Well, you're not a bad guy, but it is cute.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, it was actually
Oh, I
like a
don't know what
street name. Hi, Mischief.
she is she is not gonna wanna be on screen.
I
She's so
know.
mad.
Um
Oh, they're all remove
so
her because
there you
she's probably thinking, "No."
go. Yeah, I love her so much.
She is a character. She is,
She's so
uh
cool. I'm so glad I
yeah,
met her. Yeah, through,
yeah.
everything.
Oh, yeah.
Um
So
but
so just I don't know, what do we wanna talk about? You wanna talk about, your life, what do you wanna talk about? I don't care.
Yeah, okay. I'll just kind of start with like YouTube. I mean everyone pretty much
Yeah.
knows my story because I've
Yeah.
told it on a few different podcasts. Just been interviewed by
Mhm.
Inside True Crime and some other Blood on the Razor Wire, like those prison podcasts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I did a lot when I was in prison. It was kind of crazy because I don't know if you know, I was a systems engineer, and then I lost my wife in a car accident,
Yeah.
and they started drinking really bad, and then I was introduced to drugs. I was almost 30 years old when all that happened,
Oh,
and
wow.
yeah, yeah. The first time I did drugs, I was 30, except for weed. Like in high
Really?
school.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
I
smoked
knew
some
you
weed
were
in high school.
older, but I didn't realize that you were, 30. I knew that you weren't like a kid that tried it out and then, got into
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. I was almost 30, and yeah, I just went crazy.
Yeah.
Self-destruct mode.
Mm.
Couldn't figure it out. Anyways, it took me like 22 years to like really get over it. Um,
Wow.
I always say I was my morning became self-indulgent. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
was
sure.
using it to feel bad, and I didn't feel like I deserved to be happy or to
Mhm.
experience joy. Um, I just came from like just anger and sadness, and even my 6-year-old, she still sees it in me. She'll be like, "Dad, you look so sad," because my eyes I just kind of have like these like
Yeah.
like sad eyes a little bit. Even if
I
I'm
can't
like
help it.
super happy, my eyes are still
Yeah.
like. And
Yeah.
my daughter notices it all the time, and I'm like, "Honey, Daddy's not sad. He's happy." And he's like, "But
Aw.
Dad, you just look so sad." And I'm just like, "I'm not, honey. I promise. I assure you.
Yeah.
I mean, don't
It's
use
just
the
my
P
face.
word." Yeah. Um, so yeah. And what's crazy is um, when I finally got over it, I was in treatment in this treatment center called True North. I had already done treatment once before in a place called the Phoenix House in Venice Beach.
Yeah.
Um, but I was at this treatment center called True North up here in Montana, and I was into anger management. And I have no violence, no nothing in my
Yeah.
history, no anger, no like part. They call them PFMAs in California and here. the partner member family assault, nothing like that. So they had me
Yeah.
in this anger management with all these guys that like beat up their wives,
Oh, wow.
and that are drug addicts. I'm just like, why am I here? I don't have an anger issue. And
Mhm.
but the counselor, he was my drug counselor, and he's the one who facilitated that group. He goes, I just want you
Mhm.
in here. He would try to push my buttons, and I would never. I was like, I'm not biting, man. You're not going to get me to get angry. And I don't remember what it was, but um, somebody was talking about something to do with a car accident or something, and
Oh,
um, it got me on the subject of losing her and in an anger management group, and I just lost it. I just lost it. I cried like you couldn't breathe. Like the
yeah.
like I couldn't
Yeah.
breathe. And I left the group. It was in a house. The treatment center was like in a house. And I left the group. We were like in the living room. I walked out, went into the kitchen, and literally was in the fetal position on the ground in the kitchen, just bawling, 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 bawling. I was like 51 or 52, 56. No, I was like 52. Um, just laying in this kitchen, bawling my eyes out. Shaved head, tattoo, just bawling like a baby. um, and it something changed. I don't know what it
Wow.
was, but something had changed, and in the way that I felt about her death, about being in the not being there when it happened. I
Mhm.
always felt like I was in the wrong place, like I wasn't supposed to be where I was at any given moment from that moment on. Like
Yeah.
I felt like every decision I made was the wrong decision, and I wasn't where I was supposed to be.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. I
Yes,
relate
it
that. Yeah, I relate that to now, where I know God has me exactly where I'm supposed to be. I was exactly where I was supposed to be then.
Yeah.
And everything that's happened is it, he just had me working on my testimony,
Mhm.
to I guess minister to others. I don't want to say I
Yeah.
have a ministry,
No, I know
but
what you mean, though.
I do help a little bit. I do help out a lot of people. Um,
Yeah.
um, Not like in the I don't I don't know. I just, I have my guys that I help, you know,
Yeah.
um, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's
Sponsor
a
an
lot of
A.
different ways. There's a lot of different ways to minister to people. You don't have to be, like,
Mhm.
standing with a Bible and all that, just your
Yeah.
presence and talking to them and letting them see that you're human and that you are fallible and that, I
Yeah.
think that that is a more of a testimony and a ministry. I've been a Christian for years, and that's what I try to do, and I don't think
Mhm.
bad about people that aren't Christians. I'm just like, "That's them. I wish everybody was," but
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
them, and that's their life, and that's their choice, and I can't make that choice for them. And
Mhm.
so, I think you're great. I love how you talk about God and everything, but you don't, like, preach, you don't preach it to
Mhm.
people. It just
Yeah.
you're just open about it, and that's what I wanna do too, is I just wanna be open. I'm not gonna hide my Christianity, but I'm not gonna shove it down someone's throat, you know?
Right, right.
Um,
It's a maybe not hard line. It's like a fine line
yeah.
where you don't wanna be intrusive, but you wanna tell people,
Mhm.
and you want them to I guess convert, but I don't
Yeah,
I'm not
I know what you mean.
just like what you just said, like I wish they were Christians,
Yeah, I wish they were,
um
but
but again, even that, like, but I definitely, if you're not, man, I'm still gonna love you like you're my brother
oh,
in Christ,
yeah.
you know?
Absolutely,
Yep, no
absolutely.
matter if you worship crystals, I'll be like, tell me all about it,
Yeah,
I
me
like
too,
I
because 'cause
wanna
I'm nosy, I wanna
yeah,
hear about
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. That's funny.
So, yeah, I'm nosy. I wanna know all about it. I wanna know all the stuff, so
Yeah,
doesn't mean I'm
so
gonna do it, but I wanna know it. So,
yeah.
well, I mean, he gave us curiosity. Why would he give us curiosity if we're not supposed to use it?
Yeah, yeah. And, and I do believe in reincarnation, and that kinda goes
Yeah.
against, a lot of
Yeah.
things, um, but I can't, I know the Holy Spirit is in me and it's real, and I know reincarnation's real. I don't look to my belief in reincarnation to fill any kind of void in me. I don't seek
Mhm.
guidance from it, or 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 healing or anything that I seek from God. I would never seek it in my belief in
Yeah.
reincarnation. Having said that, my best friend committed suicide like a year and 2 years ago now, and I did go see a psychic
Mhm.
to get some answers. And in
Yeah.
case it was real, I'd never seen a psychic before, but losing her, I was so blindsided by the whole thing because I was with her just the
Yeah.
day before. I was so blindsided by the whole thing. I had to do something more. I talked to every pastor I knew the next day, because she committed suicide. I needed a reassurance that she was in
Yeah.
heaven. I
Yeah.
was super scared about that. Um, at the foot where she hung herself, at the foot
Mhm.
at her feet was her Bible. So she had been reading it before she did. I'm gonna start crying. and
Aw.
um and so it was just super heavy for me. And so I went and seen this psychic, right? And it was the greatest thing. I'm sitting there and I'm
Aw.
skeptical, right? I'm like, I'm giving him the Popeye, hey
Yeah.
man, I'm skeptical, but I want to know. And he's just like, he just takes like this pen and he just starts scribbling on his book. Oh, first we prayed. He was a Catholic. So
Oh,
first
yeah.
we prayed. Yeah, he prayed for Jesus to protect us from any evil spirits coming in. And I was just like, okay, I'm in the right spot, you know?
Yeah. You went to the right
And
one.
yeah, I got the right one. At least he wasn't, talking about Beelzebub or something
Yeah.
crazy. And he he's like, man, he's like, I don't know if this is her or not. He's like, but she's jumping up and down saying, tell him he's my number one. Tell him he's my number one. And we used to
Oh.
say that to each other all the time. And it was
Aw.
so heavy. It was so heavy.
That is.
um,
Oh,
I just
that's
lost it. I was
amazing.
like, "Ah."
Yeah.
All the gangster jumped right out of me. I'm just
Yeah.
bawling like a baby. And
Oh.
and I asked all the questions, why didn't you call me and tell me? And you know all the answers were answers. If you were to make up answers, if you say if it was fake, it was like, if you would have stopped me, if I would have called you, I just was tired of this world, kind of like stock answers. But I mean,
But it
what
could be
else are
the
you gonna
truth,
say?
though. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
I know it was her. um there's no way he could have known that. This is
yeah.
just some psychic in a bookstore, and like
Mhm.
that sells crystals and books about
Yeah.
witchcraft and Bibles and Odin books. And
Yeah.
um, so
I
yeah.
believe in it. I don't believe that they're all real, but I do believe that
Mm-mm.
some people have an ability. I really do. I don't know
Yep.
why they couldn't. I mean, because even Christianity is so much it's spiritual, and we're talking about spirits, and that
Mhm.
this energy goes on and on and on. So I don't know why. I don't know why it couldn't be. You know,
Right, exactly, that's
I
perfect.
think
Yeah. If
people are just scared of it. They're
Mhm.
scared of it, but I'm not
Yep.
scared of it. It doesn't scare me. My daughter went to one the first time I had cancer. I've had it 3 times. And,
Oh, wow.
the first time I had cancer,
Wow.
she went to a psychic, and the psychic told her she didn't mention anything about me. My daughter didn't say anything about me. She made sure she didn't wear pink. She didn't wear anything that was like, would
Mhm.
identify anything about breast cancer or anything. And, anyway, so the psychic immediately brought it up about breast cancer and was telling her to make sure that she gets checked and that her sister gets checked. And, she said something about her mom. She said, "Your mom's gonna have a really long, hard road, but everything's gonna come out all right." And I had 2 more diagnoses since then, and I'm in remission right now, full remission. So,
Wow.
Who knows? It's been 14 years, and so that's a long road, and
Wow.
and
Wow.
so everybody's gonna die sometime, and this'll probably be what kills me, is what my doctor says. But at the same time, something's gonna kill everybody, and I
Yeah.
have made it
Yeah. Yeah.
14 years,
Yeah.
when I was expected to make it less than 5.
Yeah.
So and now
That's
I'm in
amazing.
remission. Yeah,
Yeah.
really cool.
I mean, I'm sure you've heard it before, but God's got something planned for you to do.
Oh, yeah.
Who knows what it is? People tell me that all the time. Man, I tell them about my recent year of nothing like fighting cancer, but just a lot of
Oh,
turmoil and
yeah.
bad decisions and then when I come out of it, all my Christian friends are like, man, God's got something huge planned for
Yeah.
you.
That's what
I'm
they
like,
tell me
really?
too. It's
Like
like, "Well"
something huge, right?
yeah. I'm like,
I'm
"Oh,
like,
no.
wow.
What's
Yeah. Oh
coming
no, right?
next?"
Yeah. I'm not worthy for something huge.
Yeah,
I
I
just want
already did
something
this.
small. I just want
Yeah, can this
something.
have already been the huge, it's
Yeah, right.
nothing else. So
Yeah.
so let's talk a little bit about, more recent, like how, you got into YouTube and all that. Let's talk about
Sure.
that a little bit.
Um, yeah, so
Mhm.
I'll go over the first part pretty quickly.
Okay.
It was a slow season, and I'm a tattoo artist.
Mhm.
So it was a slow season of tattooing. Um, I take pain meds. I don't take opiates because I'm an addict. So I don't take
Mhm.
opiates, but I take, ibuprofen, gabapentin, and buprenorphine. And
Okay.
so in the mornings, I can't even walk. I mean, it's literally,
Oh,
I'm literally like this, like, oh, when
oh,
I get up
yeah.
and
Me too.
yeah, I,
I
you
am.
know, I make it to my meds. I take my meds and I just sit down and I usually sit in front of a space heater because I'm usually really cold when I'm in
Mhm.
pain. And so I just sit in front of my space heater and
Oh,
it's so funny. My wife in the mornings, like she'll have my meds and my space heater and my chair, like all ready for me.
aw.
um, yeah. And I'm sure that's going to get old eventually, but um, so anyway, so I started watching this, I just came across this bounty hunter guy, and I can't remember his name, and I haven't seen him since. But it was on Facebook, and this bounty hunter was crazy. He would go and he would like kick down doors and get people and take them to jail, and sometimes he would like blow out all the windows of the house and drag people out, and it was just like it was nuts. And I was like, man, this guy's
Yeah.
amazing. But then one time I seen him and he was a sheriff. And I was like, wow, he must do bounty hunting like on the side, like fugitive,
Yeah.
like recovery, right? And come to find out he was fake. It was all fake. But that was the content he created, but it seemed super real to me.
Mhm.
Um, and so that what it did to my algorithm, it turned my algorithm into interrogation videos. And so then I started watching
Yeah.
interrogation videos. This is all within like a 4-month period. I started watching
Mhm.
interrogation videos, and then that took me to YouTube. I had never watched YouTube twice. I just said this the other day.
Yeah.
I watched YouTube 2 times before 2 years ago. Is when
Yeah.
I got into
Sounds like
YouTube.
me.
Yeah. And I didn't
I
know there was
really didn't.
all this content on here. I really
Yeah.
didn't.
I didn't either. I really
And
didn't.
and I was like, wow, this is nuts. And then I started watching court stuff. And I was watching this guy and I was in his community. This guy, his name's Law Talk with Mike. He's a lawyer
Yeah.
out of Chicago. And I used to be a part of his community. And I would always answer those questions when someone would have a question about prison or, what, these some
Yeah.
letters mean, in the criminal side. And I would always know those answers. And so I said, you know what? I'm not doing anything. I'm just going to buy a microphone and start editing videos and, doing commentary on videos. And that's what I started doing. And I called my channel the All Rise Legal Network. And man, it within 4 months I was monetized. Um,
Mhm.
well, YouTube was denying me. I have like 6 hours of me talking about YouTube denying me. I'm like, I don't know what the big deal is. Why they keep denying me? And so I was reaching out to other creators, like, hey, why do you think they're denying me? And they're like, man, I don't know. They should. No one ever gets denied really unless the content is like racist or. And I'm like, man, I don't know what it is. So finally, I got a direct line to YouTube, and the chick was super cool. She's like, I don't know, I'll run it by my boss, and I'm like, okay. And the next day, I uploaded a video, and it said, "Welcome to the AdSense program," and I was so happy. I was so happy. I was like, yes. And
Oh.
yeah, and so yeah, I just kind of grew that channel, and then someone reached out to me to someone wanted to interview me. They knew about me from prison. Um,
Mhm.
they knew I was in a gang. I was kind of high profile, and wanted just to hear my story because they knew I dropped out
Mhm.
of the game too. They said I
Which is
dropped
not
out.
normal. Yeah.
Yeah,
Not a
yeah,
lot of
which is
people do
not.
that.
Yep, yep. And so I did that, and after that, I was just on YouTube, and I seen Brett, my old celly, Brett
Mhm.
Miller, come on my thing, and I was like, I knew him as Rocco, and I was like, is that Rocco? I was like, no way. So I like went to his Facebook, and I was like, hey, like there was like people like guarding his, like moderators or whatever, like kind of guarding all the communications or whatever. And I was like,
Mhm.
oh man, this is kind of a big deal. I was like, hey, let your boss know that I'm trying to get a hold of him. Here's my email, and people would like respond like, yeah, we'll let him know, but a lot of people try to get a hold. So I don't know, it was weird. And that went on for like a week. And so finally I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna say what's up in a chat. And I did. And it's like the biggest mistake I've ever made, and like the best decision I ever made.
Yeah,
It's one
and
of
it
those things,
absolutely,
and
absolutely.
yeah, you probably understand. and
Yeah.
and I was just like, he's like, Casper, I know a lot of Caspers. I could tell he was a little. Now that I
Yeah,
play the tape back, I can tell he was like a little like nervous, like I was gonna be like, yeah, you're a punk bitch, like I was gonna, you
yeah,
know,
like,
but
yeah.
no, I was like one of his friends, and because I was at the first prison he was at, and nobody knew anything about his history,
Yeah.
and it was kind of a softer prison because there was a drug treatment program there, so
Mhm,
nobody really effed with anybody,
mhm,
everyone just kind of left everybody alone, and everyone tried to go to treatment. But anyways, he got into it in the visiting room with one of the officers, and he was sent to the hole. I was already in the hole because I got caught with a cell phone. So that's how we met. And I spent like 7 months with him in the hole, and we just became
yeah,
really good friends. So
yeah,
my experience was good with him. So anyway, he's just like, no way, that's awesome. And so we exchanged phone numbers, and he's like, hey, you want to come on my show, Night Yard? It was like a prison show on
yeah.
Sunday nights. And I was like, I don't know, man, I'm kind of nervous about being on camera, I don't really want to, you know you know I'm kind of like shy and weird. So so I did one, and I was kind of quiet, you know well, I guess I was kind of quiet. I don't know, if we watched it back, the first one, I'm probably just blah 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 blah. But I felt like I was kind of quiet. Um, so to like get over that, I did a Casper late night with Casper show,
Mhm.
so I could get used to like being live. But I did it real late at night, and because of my appearance on Night Yard, like a ton of people were in my like late night one. I
Yeah,
was like, what the heck is going on? And everyone's like, hey, we love you, Casper. And I was like, what? Who are all these people? It tripped me out.
yeah.
But it made me feel good too.
Well, yeah.
And I was like, "Oh yeah, I could get used to this, right?" I'm walking my, my step. I'm walking a little straighter, a little taller. I got a little a skip to my step. My wife was like, "When you seem so happy lately," and it was all because of this community, right?
Mhm.
And I assure you, this isn't me like pandering to the community. Like this is really
No, I
what
know what you mean.
happened.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, like I
Me
was
too.
like, yeah, something was I was filled with some kind of different kind of happiness
Mhm.
and I don't know, it was just the best feeling. And so I was hooked. I was hooked. Um
Mm.
and so yeah, I was just doing content with him, and then you know, him and Reese would say these things, and I was doing some side stuff with him and Reese, the jester stuff, all the jester stuff. And
Yeah.
they they wanted me to make this documentary for him, and they just it was like, we're going to give you storyboards, and this is how we want it, structured and done. And for a long time I was like, hey, when are you going to give me that? I'm taking some time off from my other channel, give it to me and I'll edit it and make it super cool. And
Mm.
finally one day, Reese just sent me this big zip file, and it just had like all and then texted me all the recordings, like of her and Jeff, and just like all her secret squirrel recordings
Yeah.
that she does. That's bizarre, but so yeah, so I have all this
Yeah,
info.
a little.
I don't know the story. I haven't been around, so I didn't know all the jester material that they did. I don't know. I never watched all that. So I didn't know if they expected me to go back and watch like hours and hours of them talking about the jesters. So what I did is, Google has, it's called Notebook LM. And so I
Mhm.
can take all those YouTube links and put them in like a folder, and and then it has like a chat section. I just type, write me a script uh, in a timeline of all these videos I just plugged into you. So that's what it did. It wrote me a script, a jester script from all the Reese and Tommy videos. And so then I just like got footage and pieced everything together. And I had all the screenshots from emails and things like that. Anyways,
Yeah.
I digress a lot. So you gotta,
No, no, it's fine. It's absolutely
okay.
fine.
And so I made this badass video, and I had to like show it to them to make sure it was okay. So would just upload it to YouTube, but on private or
Mhm.
unlisted, and I would send them a link, for them to look at it, and they could say no, block out the names, cover their eyes, it was all these changes. And I snapped at Tommy because I was like, look, hey, bro, I don't know who you think you're talking to, but like I'm helping you. And
Mhm.
he's like, well, fine, just deal with Reese. You just deal with Reese, because she's yelling at me about this and that, and you're doing this. And I was like, whatever, fine. So then the next day I called Reese, and I'm like, hey, I go, is everything cool? She's like, I don't know, is everything cool with you? I was like, yeah, everything's fine with me. I'm just trying to get this video done. I put like 90 hours into this thing,
Oh, wow.
and yeah, I put a lot of time into it. And I go, but I'm not looking for payment. We're all going to present it. We were going to call ourselves, it's so corny now, the Four Horsemen. It's so corny now. I'm almost embarrassed by it. But um,
Mhm.
so uh, so she said, she's like, well, Tommy said you were being an asshole about it. And I was like, what? No, I was just like saying, I'm trying to finish this so we can get it out and get it going.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, are you and Tommy still friends? I was like, yeah. He's like, well, he says you're just a junky piece of shit. And I'm like, what? And I had already heard that from somebody else, that he was talking behind
Yeah.
my back. And I'm like, what exactly did he say? And she's like, well, you can't tell him. I'm like, I'm not going to tell him. I give you my word. And, and so she just like tells me all these times where he's
Oh,
like,
wow.
and she showed me text receipts too, like where we
Mhm.
were live, doing our morning show, but he's texting her, is like, look at him, he's just high, and he's a piece of shit, and like, I can't wait to get rid of him, And I was just
Oh,
like,
wow.
wow. And then she said, um, she's like, but I have this recording and I want to send it to you. And I want you to tell me what you think I should do. So she sends me the recording, the recording.
Yeah.
And so I'm listening to it and I'm just like, first I thought she was effing with me. I thought they were like,
Mhm.
because it sounds fake, kind of
It
like
does
he's like,
sound fake. Mhm.
you know what I mean? Like he's talking like he's like acting, but like a bad acting. Does
Mhm.
that make sense?
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I go, this is fishy. This is super fishy. And then so I texted her, I said, like, I'm like, hey, I go, this is crazy. If this is real, then you need to do something with that. Like, and she's like, do you
Mhm.
think I should play? I was like, you should absolutely put it out there. You know, of course, I was a little butthurt because I heard he was, talking behind my back. But I think regardless, I would have encouraged her to do that
Yeah.
because there's no way, there's no way I would, knowing that information, there was no way I could keep going with him. There's just absolutely no way. And, and, so I kept encouraging her to do it. And she finally did it. She's like a week later and she was committed to doing it. It wasn't like I had to like twist her arm behind her back or anything.
Yeah.
She was committed. She just didn't know when. She didn't want to do it right because Marilyn and Hef and Alan,
Alan.
was that his name?
Yeah, Alan, yeah.
Had just did that video of when they did their talk, and so she didn't want it to come out like right after that. She was super worried about that. I don't want it to like I'm doing this to like take the attention away from me because that's not what I'm doing. Like I've had this for a while and I need to do it
Mhm.
like quickly. And so then she does it and like I'm backstage. She's like, will you be there with me for support? And I'm like, yeah, I'll just be backstage. And then you can, at the end, you can introduce me and say, yeah, that
Mhm.
I, gave her the strength or whatever. Cause I did. I said,
Yeah.
like, look, if he ever threatens you or anything happens like that, like, and my wife was right there, I said, I'll be on a plane. I'll be on a plane.
Mhm.
And just, and I made her go get bullets for her pistol. She had a
Wow.
pistol with no bullets. I'm like, what the? So anyway, yeah. So then she played it, and then I came out, missed, Captain Save a Ho, and that's how it feels now,
Yeah, I
Uh,
know.
but what was crazy is that when she came out with it, her story, she never told me that she reached out to Alan for help and that it was like that she was doxxed on the thing. She never ever mentioned that to me. So that was a surprise to me. But I really think that she used that opportunity while presenting that to like say like, look what you did,
Mhm.
you put my life in risk. Um, I think that was all bullshit. I think because I never heard about that. I
Yeah.
heard about it first, and we've been talking about the situation all week. Um, I mean, I shouldn't say I think it's bullshit. I should just say I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I think if I don't know the relationship between all of them.
Yeah.
Um, but the reason why I think I say it was bullshit is because she did it. She never told me about it. You know what I mean? She never
Mhm.
told me that um that that she was doxxed or whatever the word is, that
Yeah.
the situation was um yeah. I don't, is it doxed? Would that be doxing still? But
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I
kinda?
think that's what she was saying
Okay.
anyway, so.
Yeah. Um but I don't know. I don't think Tommy even seen that video or his brother. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
um yeah, I don't think they ever seen it to like threaten her life, if you ever do anything, that I think that was all kind of made up. Except for when they did find out, they did threaten her.
Mhm.
They
Mhm.
did they did threaten her. Um, so
Goodness. I don't know, that was just a whole mess. It was
yeah,
I
it
still
is a
can't really figure it out. It's weird the way that he talked on it and everything. I mean, I believe it, and yet it's just weird. But I've heard other videos where he sounded like that too, where he
mhm,
sounded very like, you know, it's like he thinks it makes him sound tougher or something. I don't know what it is,
exactly.
but it's
He changes his voice even when he's talking. He's like, "Yeah, the prison." He does like this thing where
yeah.
he goes, "Do you know what I'm talking about?" Like he goes, "You know
Mhm.
that you got to go to the prison." He does like this weird thing with his mouth and his voice, and it's like it's acting. It's like this like
Mhm.
trying to be like he's like something that he's not,
Yeah.
and that's what that thing was. A lot of that might have been BS. He was just
Mhm.
making it. I mean, he does have victims,
Yeah.
but the way, talking about the con, this is what you do. This is the pre-con and the mid-con, and you gotta, you gotta bait them with it. Like that's all it was, all acting and weird to like impress her because she's naive and like and
Yeah.
doesn't know any better, right? He knew he could get away with that with her to sound cool. But any chick with a little snap, any chick with a little snap to him, been like, "What? You're an idiot, dude."
Yeah.
They would have
Exactly.
thought that. They would have been like, "What? What are you? You're an idiot. Quit talking. Actually, get out of my house."
Yeah, get out of my house.
Um, so, but I that whole situation. So then afterwards, because I became, I don't want to say friends with Knife Hoarder. I would say we're friends, but we don't talk every day. We
Yeah.
don't message, but because um I had reached out to Knife Hoarder and I had said, "Hey, look, if there's any names blocked anywhere, I'll unblock them." And he's like, "Hey, I
Mhm.
respect that. You're a man of your word. You did that." And we emailed a few times after that, but because of that, and because she heard that, I called her one day. I was like, just like, "Hey, is everything cool?" It was like right afterwards, and she's like, "Well, my whole community's freaking out because you're friends with Knife Hoarder." I'm like, "What?" She's like, not me, but you just got all those subs for me, and so they're just concerned that you're not, that you did that for the subs. And I was like, "Hey, whoa, check this out." And I got kind of like
Mhm.
heated. Let's just say I got heated. I say, "Hey, check this out. I didn't know I was going to get subs from helping you do that. That's the furthest thing from my mind." Now, did I get 1,800
Yeah.
subs? Yeah, I did get 1,800 subs, and it was awesome. And I was like, "What? This is badass." Right? I was super excited.
Yeah.
And but was I thinking that? No. And am I worried about that,
Yeah.
like losing them because I'm friends with Knife Hoarder, or because him and I sent a couple of emails? Like, I don't care if they come or go. I don't care. Like, I know that
Yeah.
I mean, I would care if my community, the people that I speak to every morning, I would care if they left. But if they're just like part of her little mini cult or whatever is going on over there, if
Mhm.
they sub because I helped her, well then they can unsub because
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not I'm going against like her rules or whatever.
Yeah.
But what I found offensive was when she said, when she was blaming it on them and not saying it was her, because it was her.
Yeah.
Her
Mhm.
all her mods didn't go to her and say, "Oh, I can't believe he got all those subs from you, helping you, and now he's like
Yeah.
talking the Knife Hoarder." There's no way. And if they did, then they're just as lame as she is. You
Yeah.
know?
Which I think is true.
Yeah.
I really
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It is a crazy thing. I doubt that everybody that subbed to you was subbing because of that, because I personally subbed to you because you weren't with him anymore. You weren't around him anymore. And I know a
Right.
whole lot of my friends that subbed to you because he's
Mhm.
out of the picture. And we got to
Yeah.
hear you. We got to hear your voice because when he was on there, he talked over you so much of the time.
Yeah, he did.
It was like the Tommy show and you were like the little sidekick,
Yeah,
and now we
yeah.
get to see you. So
I
and I'm like,
know,
"I
huh?
wanna hear this guy. I wanna hear this guy. We know all about Tommy. He's got 1,500 channels." It's like, "Let's talk
Yeah,
to this
yeah.
guy."
Yeah, yeah, I was like he was like the Carvelli, and I was like the little black guy behind him. Yeah,
Yeah.
Carvelli, get him, Carvelli. Do you remember that? Welcome back, Cotter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're
Uh,
old. We remember a lot of the same things.
yeah, I know. I love that about my audience too. Like I can like
Yeah,
talk
they're
about
old.
Welcome Back, Cotter or Barney Miller
Yeah.
or anything, and everyone's right there with me, or even ahead of
Mhm.
me. You know,
Yeah.
it's so cool. That's all that. That's that joy. That all that just comes from. That's why I experience joy, because it's like so many people that I can relate to. I don't have to be, prison guy, the big tough
Yeah.
guy, and I don't have to be super Mr. Recovery guy. There's
Yeah.
like this middle thing, where I can just be me.
Yeah. And
And
those
I
things can all be part of you, but, be you, and then those are like
right.
little pieces of you, but
Yeah,
it's not
yeah.
all of you, you know?
Yep. And I don't have to inhibit the other part of me for this group of people, or do you know what I mean? Or
Yeah. Absolutely.
yeah, yeah. It's like when I go to church, I cover up my tattoos as much as I can. And even though it's a church, well, I don't go to that church anymore, but I went to this church for a long time and was scheduled to go on missions to Poland, but it got canceled. We were going to do build housing for Ukrainian refugees.
Oh,
But
wow.
the government refused us like 2 days before we were supposed to fly out. Anyway, I
Mhm.
was really into this church, and they started getting really judgy, and it got really weird because I'd been going there for like 3 years, and I
Yeah.
have a lot of resentments because of it. And yeah, I don't know how I got into that, but
No, it don't matter, it's just a piece of you, we're talking about you, that's what we wanna hear.
yeah, yeah,
All the little things. That's what the thumbnail said, we're talking about all the things.
all the
Talk
things,
about
yeah, because I
everything.
was like, yeah, I hope we can talk about all the things, and then
Yeah,
so I thought
talk
it was
about
perfect.
anything.
Yeah.
Well, I know
Um,
that, I was told anyway that Reese was talking yesterday and said that she wanted to fly out to see you to get you to do her tattoo.
oh, really?
That's what she
Mm.
supposedly I didn't see it, so I'm
Yeah,
getting it
yeah.
secondhand.
Well, I know we had talked about it before, um, when everything seemed okay,
Mhm.
and I've stopped in a couple of times and said hi.
Yeah.
For some weird reason, whenever I get in my uh not my truck, but whenever I get in my Accord, her videos pop on and play on the speakers. And I'm like, that's so crazy. It's like every time. It's probably because that's when I go pick up my daughter, is when she usually goes live.
Yeah.
So I usually just go, hey, I'm driving, but just want you to know I'm listening. But I haven't
Yeah.
done that in a while. I haven't done that in a
Yeah.
really long time. I did check in, I think, a week ago, and she was surprised by the check-in. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
I'm
if
not
I
saying I
checked in, she'd
wouldn't
be
do it,
surprised.
but I know this: if she came, we would have a serious heart to heart. I would I
Mhm.
would let I would really give her a constructive piece of my mind.
Mhm.
On and
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think she would ever come, not in a million years. But um,
Oh.
you know, as a Christian, I can't wish her ill will at all.
Well, yeah,
Um,
yeah, I don't either. I don't either.
no, I know you don't. I know you don't. It's just like with that video you made the other day. I thought
Mhm.
it was perfectly. It was really a class act. It really was.
Thank you. Thank you.
It was the perfect amount of impersonation slash flattery slash dig. You know,
Yeah.
it was perfect, man.
Well, it was
Uh,
fun. I had a good time. Do you know I did that in one take? I didn't do any editing or anything. I was
you know
shocked.
what? I knew you did that in one take. I knew you did,
Yeah.
and that's why I even told my mom, I was like, "This is amazing." I go, look, she's just like talking, and
I
the
didn't have a
and
script.
you weren't reading a script or anything, and you just
Uh-uh.
nailed it. You
What I
nailed it.
did have written down was a bunch of names because I was afraid that whenever I was, like, talking, talking to the chat that I would, like, say the same name 25 times or something. So I just wrote down a bunch of random names, and every once in a while, I would look down for names. But I didn't have a script. I didn't have anything. I just one thing just led to another, I guess. It
Yeah,
was fun.
uh, Yeah. And it was so cool because you made that after I had already decided that you had invited me, and I was like,
Yeah.
heck yeah. Um, you did that after that, and I was like, I knew I was coming on the right show. I was
Yeah.
like, um, it's one of those things
Uh,
you almost wish the entire world knew who Reese was so they
yeah,
could
'cause it
enjoy
makes
that
sense to them.
as much as we all do.
Yeah.
Like, damn it.
Aw.
Because it would be viral. It would have
Oh, I
gone
know.
viral. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
Knife
people just
Porter
don't know who
mentioned
she
it to me
is.
the other day. Yeah.
Yeah. I love Knife Porter. He's something. I watched him for a long time, but I just kind of lurked and didn't really say much and everything, and then, um, I knew a bunch of the stuff about Brett and Reese, but it took me a long time to really I separated myself from him. I couldn't think the same about him anymore. But, I really tried to hang on to my friendship with Reese. I really, really tried because
Mhm.
I just I don't just throw people away. But
Yeah.
so, anyway, I waited and I waited and I had heard a whole lot of receipts that have never been released yet because the people it's not my receipt to release. I'm not gonna, put it out
Yeah.
there and maybe endanger that person because the receipts that I have listened to, he was threatening people and, women, always women,
Yep.
but, I'm not going to put their stuff out there. That's not my story to tell.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
so when Hef and Alan, when they went public, and the only reason they waited so long was that Alan wanted to be here. He wanted to be right here, with Hef to, support her and not be, half a world away. And so,
Right,
but
'cause he
yeah,
lives, like, in Australia or New Zealand or
yeah,
something like that?
yeah,
That's cool.
Australia.
That's
I mean, they're
super
getting
cool.
married and he's moving here, but, it just everything
Oh,
takes
wow.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
They just had their 1-year anniversary together. They've been together a year, so
How did they meet?
on, online, on YouTube.
Oh,
I don't
wow.
know if it was on, I don't know whose it was. I don't know if she might be on here or in the audience. I haven't looked,
Huh.
but they were on a lot of the same channels, we're trying to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alan
Yeah.
was on here. I don't know if he still is or not. I'm gonna scroll down through here and see what I see. Man, you got lots of
There was, the show when I did the show about the watch, when I got the watch. Did you see that?
Mhm, I did.
Um, so she had Reese had blown up my text, or not blow it up, but she texted me a couple times, like, at the end, because there was like one of Tommy's victims, allegedly
Yeah,
or supposedly, and
yeah,
was wanting a copy of the recording, or have how long did I have it, and
yeah,
did I edit it, and was I all a part of it? I mean, she was accusing me of
yeah,
being a part of stuff,
yeah,
and she Reese was like texting me like, you can't, I've been talking to the feds and they said you can't, they don't want anyone else having that recording, and I was like, what? All
it's
right.
on the
And
internet.
yeah, exactly. I guess the unedited one that has
Oh,
the
yeah,
people's names,
yeah,
and because there's a lot of names
yeah.
that get dropped in the original,
Wow.
and yeah, it was not. She's like, and that's when she was like, I need to take a break, but I can't talk about it, but I'm gonna be okay. For like 4 days, she was saying that, and then that the victim chick, she was in my email, like, and she sends me this agent, like this Homeland Security agent's all his information, and it looked like he was asking me for my text messages, like to download my phone. Um, like, if you got nothing to hide, you need to
Yeah.
send agent. His name was Quisenberry. You need to send Agent Quisenberry all your messages. And I was like, what? I was like, all right, whatever. So I reached out to the agent guy, and we talked, and uh he doesn't want my messages. He's like, no, he's like, I wanted her
Oh,
messages, not your messages. I want her
Yeah.
messages because she's the victim. He's like, unless you got some scam stuff on there. I'm like, no. He's like, well, I don't want your messages. He's like,
Yeah.
I want her. And he said that she had been ghosting him. Like he's been trying to get a hold of her for like a couple of weeks and she's been ghosting him.
Mm.
So he's like, this whole situation is crazy. He's like, I just,
Yeah.
if there's a crime, he'll be, prosecuted. If there's not, he'll, walk away.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm.
but to be
Goodness.
honest, I don't think there's really any crime there. If I'm completely honest,
Yeah.
he
I
didn't
don't know.
say he
You
was
would
going to give anybody anything for the money. They just
yeah.
sent him money.
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't know. It's the long con.
Yeah. Yeah. Long con.
Did you see that part in my video where I know a lot of the viewers seen it, where they're like, well, but I think Reese and Tommy were in on all of it, on the playing the audio, and they were like, they're getting you. And then one of my viewers said, oh yeah, that's the
Yeah,
long
with
con.
all those L's,
Yeah, did you
long.
see that?
Yeah.
It was like a bunch
Yeah.
of, and I was reading, I was like, the the what? And
And
then I
then yeah,
seen
then
the
you saw
rest of
the
it.
NG.
Oh my god, it was so funny. I laughed. I laughed so
Oh.
hard.
Oh my
Yeah,
god. Yeah, it's
yeah.
crazy. It really is. So, I was gonna look at the, chat, but you can go ahead and be talking, but if I'm looking off to the side, it's because 'cause I'm looking over at the chat to see
Oh,
if there's
that's
any
cool.
questions.
That's cool.
So
Yeah,
you
and
just,
then I just it's hard because I want to be respectful to
Mhm.
everybody involved, when I did that one video and I said, I'm praying for Tommy and I'm praying for
Yeah.
everybody. Because God is the great healer. He can change someone's heart. He changed my heart instantly.
Yeah.
I mean, it was literally instant. Yeah, there were some habits that were hard to get rid of. That I'm talking about like behavioral habits that were
Mhm.
hard to get rid of that weren't instant, but my desires changed. And
Yeah.
that was like 3/4 of my battle. Um, Life Hoarder said something yesterday, and not to keep bringing up Life Hoarder. Tom's
No,
like,
he's
quit talking.
great. I don't care. Yeah.
No, I think he's great too. But him and I have the same exact viewpoint on addiction. I don't believe relapse is part of recovery. If you relapse,
I don't
yes, make it
either.
short and just keep it pushing. Don't beat yourself up, but you don't use it as an excuse to use. And
Exactly.
when you're done, you're done, and you're done. And there's no like, well, I'm going to do cocaine instead of heroin because that's not my drug of choice, and that's my recovery plan. That's not a recovery plan. That's not.
Mhm.
And so I don't buy all that harm reduction garbage. And I want to do like a series on it that's outside of my morning show. But I don't know. I
Yeah.
did kind of hint around to Knife Porter that him and I should do something about, just talk about just at one show talking about heroin addiction and
Mhm.
getting off of it and staying off of it. But
Yeah. Oh, I think it'd be
I don't.
great. You 2 would be great together. I really do. I just brag on him all the time because I think that his channel and the things that he says is far more helpful about addiction than what Tommy was saying. Brett,
Oh,
whatever.
hands down, hands down. And he's super clever. He's really smart, and he's been through it. I can tell by the things that he says about heroin and addiction that he's really, really been through it. And he's come a long way, and he's proud of that. And he understands how much his real estate is worth now to throw it all away. He said something that I always say too. It's like, I would never, I've built a cliff. I just say it a little differently. I've built a cliff so high that I'm not willing to jump off of it for a $20 sack for a high
Mhm.
that's going to last 2 hours. You think I would
Yeah.
throw away my beautiful daughter and wife for $20? Not in a million years. Not in a million years. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he said that like yesterday today, but he's super clever too and really funny.
Oh, he is.
That first time he came out with the unicorn hat and the arrow and the bow and arrow. Well played, sir. Well
Uh,
played.
yes.
Yeah. I instantly thought of like all the stuff in my daughter's closet right now that I could put on, but I didn't want to
Yeah.
like I was copying him. But super funny. Super funny.
I bought a little bow and arrow set for my granddaughter, and I told him, I said, uh, I'm gonna have a duel. I said, I'm gonna challenge you to a duel. I said, I've got one too, buddy.
Yeah.
and,
That's
and
awesome.
mine comes with a princess crown. So
Yikes.
yeah, scary.
So you haven't seen since while we're talking about this stuff, you haven't seen the infomercial with Tommy in it?
No, I haven't. I
Let's just
haven't.
watch a quick clip. Let me get it ready real quick. And
Okay.
then yeah.
You might have to talk me through this if I'm supposed to do something because I don't have a clue what I'm supposed to do.
Don't worry, girl. I got you. I got you. Share screen. And I don't know how Goot Juice found this, but he sure found it. I think someone else found it, he said, but you would have to really deep dive to find something like this.
Yeah.
Okay, do you see it down there on your screen? It's like a
Yes, I
little
do. Yeah.
just hit
So just add to stage.
yeah, just add the stage and I'll find the areas.
Is that it?
So this is a Tommy is Brett has talked about before where he's worked call centers and did different things, and he once told me he made $1 million 3 times in his life and he can do it again.
Yeah, he says that a lot.
Yeah, he says stuff like that all the time. Check this out. This is an old
financial freedom. It's been exciting to do this because I've been able to make an awful lot more money than I had ever dreamed, and it's enabled me to do some of the things that I had always dreamed of, like purchase a house, regain my time, travel, and spend a lot more time doing the things that I really enjoy doing.
I went with my dad to Brazil.
you remember those back in the day, all the what do they call it? It's like network marketing.
Yeah. Yeah. Those MLMs. Yeah.
Yeah, Amway and
Uh-huh.
Herbalife, all those companies that did like network marketing and whatever. And that's what this was. I mean, you get into it, then you sell the program to other people. And and they don't really talk about that. They make it sound like it's a like you can sell any product with this method, but really it's selling this. It's selling the 30
Yeah.
minutes money system. And it's a lightweight scam, but it was a legal scam. And I don't think everyone who did it is a con artist, but I want to show one more part of this real quick,
That's fine. It's fine.
if you don't mind. Yeah,
No, not at all.
he's like walking through the woods with this guy. It's so funny. Let me find it. There he is again. There he is again, but there's a longer.
Some key elements missing, something that you're expected to bring to the table. The beauty of what's going on here is that the system is complete.
All right, this is me. I'm gonna show one more thing.
No, you're fine. Whatever you want to show, you show it.
All right. Let me find it. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Yeah, it's so crazy. Goot is another good creator. The way he does his videos, like he did a Throwback Thursday and he had some like old 70s music playing, and he even changed the look of the video to kind of like seem like older, like with some like filter or whatever. Just really, really clever, man. Everyone is so
I wish I knew how to do all that stuff. I don't know how to do any of it. I want to learn, but I just haven't. Yeah, maybe Suzy could be your new co-host.
That would be badass.
It would be. I'll do it.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Okay, here we go.
He dramatically improved his life.
Let's go back to the beginning. Thank you.
using the techniques and strategies that are taught in this system, you make like $8,100 your first week. That is a huge amount of money. A lot of people don't make that obviously in a couple of months. Did you honestly believe that plugging into something so simple could make that kind of money?
Not in the beginning, but since I've started to tap into the existing system, I don't really see an end in sight. Last year I was able to make over $100,000 in the business, and as far as I'm concerned, that's the tip of the iceberg.
What was it in the system that made it simple, if you will, for you to work?
Oh, it's like you said, it was turnkey. Everything was there for me. When I got involved with the system and got the packet and looked it over, there was a product that I already had in mind. Thought was a good product.
You had a product going into it?
I did, and all I had to do was plug in literally the name of my product into ads that were already written. Right? And if I didn't have a product, they had a list of literally hundreds of products in the book that you could just flip through.
I don't know.
Product, put it in.
Pretty just interesting, you know.
Yeah, it's weird to watch him that far back.
Yeah, yeah, it's weird, and you know, I mean, this was a legal thing. Yeah, but he was looking for the quick buck. But
you know what was weird? He said he made 8,100 in the first week, right? And then he said he made $100,000 last year. Well,
yeah.
Why didn't he make a whole lot more than, you know?
Yeah,
If he made 8,100 in a week, why didn't he make more than $100,000 in a year?
Yeah, maybe it was.
I mean, it all just sounds lie, you know.
Yeah, it's all bularchy.
Yeah.
But yeah, those things, you know, my stepdad, he got caught up in all those things back in the 70s and 80s. You know, the Amway and all the different ones. And I'm gonna remove that. Yeah, I just thought that was
I didn't even think about it.
Oops. Oh yeah, you can change it back to however you want it to be.
No, it's fine. It's good the way it is. I don't care. There you go. Wow, we're all up in your face now. Oh, I wasn't seeing a whole lot of questions. Just everybody excited to see you.
Oh, well, I appreciate that.
Miss Scorpio Rising says that she just got a emergency flood alert right when she was getting ready to sit down and relax, and that her front yard's already flooded.
Oh,
so,
wow!
Goodness.
I wonder where she's at.
I don't know. If you're still on here, let us know where you're at, and I'll try to get down there to it. There's so many. I don't know if I'm gonna make it all the way down or not. But anyway, Alan Ballantyne's here. Joe McCoyne, he's here. He says, I'm not aware of who Sammy is, but I will watch and learn. I think you'll really like him, Joel. The more you watch, I think you'll really like him. He was kind of a partner, partnered up on a show with Tommy / Brett Miller or whatever. And that all fell apart. Thank God, actually. Thank God.
Oh, thank God. Yeah. And that's it was all meant to be. I talked to James Colin Cares. I talked to him a lot. I wish it was more, but we're both busy. But I talked to him a lot, and it really, like, I really think God brought me and him together for maybe for something in the future, or just the friendship and the conversation that we have. It just I believe we all have like these spirit guides that kind of guide us and direct us, and God, it's all God's plan, and we just get guided, and we're where we're supposed to be every second of the day. And
I think so too.
Yep, where I can't say it right now because it's late. I mean, it's not that late, but we are where we are supposed to be. And once you truly have an understanding of that, life is just so much easier, I think. Even the hard times, you can still reside in joy and just know that everything's going to be okay. It really is. And
it will.
If you have no fear of and I just talked about this the other day, if we don't fear death, then what else is there to fear? What else is there to fear? Really, Yeah, I don't know. It's
Yeah,
crazy. It's
it is
crazy.
crazy.
Yeah.
So
I resist. Go ahead. Go
have
ahead.
you heard anything from Brett since the whole fallout? Was that the last? I mean, other than you got the watch.
Yeah, no, I blocked him. I blocked him that morning. I said I reserve the right to do my own investigation on Brett,
Mhm.
and and that, how did I say it? That because of my close proximity and connection to him, creating content with him, I reserve the right to investigate it and present what I find and what
Yeah.
and to say like, here, this is everything, complete transparency, like the video we did of the CO, that was,
Yeah.
him, me interviewing him, that was presented to me as like, hey, it's a slow news cycle, because I did have a CO friend, but he didn't work at that.
Mhm.
And he's like, no, that's not good. I wanted to interview him and say, how do you think it is over there? He's worked at all the different, types of federal
Yeah.
jails, and that wasn't good enough. It had to be. So we just did it that way, and I regret it. I regret it to an extent that I let him talk me into it. That
Yeah.
I was with, because I didn't understand, and I really didn't. And I don't want to say ignorance is an excuse, or
No, I know what you mean, though.
naivete, being naive. Um, but I wasn't thinking, oh, views and clicks. I was just thinking, we're putting out information of really what it's like. I mean, there's
Mhm.
nothing in there that was really a lie, except for him
Except for who the
saying,
person was. Yeah.
yeah, except for that. And again, it's not me trying to minimize it. It's just, I just thought, we're creators, we're creating content,
Yeah. That was the
literally,
literal
literally.
definition of it. But, a lot of
Yeah.
people do that. I mean, I understand, I'm
Hmm.
glad that you're not gonna do it anymore kinda thing. I understand that. But at the same time, a lot of creators do create,
Oh yeah.
content.
Oh yeah.
So,
It's a
and
lot.
a lot of it we don't even know, you
Hmm.
don't even know.
Almost every viral TikTok is actually created,
It's
like the
yeah.
accidents, husband and wife are in the kitchen and something, bizarre happens, and they're like, ooh,
Yeah.
that's, I burst my wife's bubble almost every day. She'll show me something like, this is so funny, look at this, and I'll look at it. I was like, that's totally scripted. And she'll
It
look at it
is.
closer, and she's like, I hate you. I
I do
ruin
the
it
same
for
with
you
my
every
husband.
time.
I do the same with my husband. He's always like, "Have you seen this thing that," he'll go into all this
Hmm.
explanation and I'm just like, "Mhm, and mhm." And he'll be like, "What?" I go, "It's fake."
Yeah.
"Well, if it's real," I said, "It's not.
Yeah,
It's
it's like
really not."
this, like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's so
Uh,
funny.
okay, I
But
saw
yeah,
I saw a
it was a
question.
bummer.
It's
Sure.
Miss Scorpio Rising says, "Sam, I'm assuming it was the AB gang." I don't know what that
It
means.
did you say AB gang?
Yeah, AB.
Yes, it was. Yep, yep, it was. And I have
Here's
all the
one.
tattoos. Huh?
I said, "Here's another question." I've actually heard this question before. It's Ruby Araheta. I'm gonna get that name wrong, with Autism Homestead. It says, "Do you prefer to count from 0 to 99 or 0 to 100?" I don't know. It's
I
just
don't
one of
know.
those, like, little I don't know either. I always kind of think 99 because 'cause I'm, like, always looking forward to something in the future, and, like, I guess 100 is
Hmm.
new. But then at the same time, I think, well, 0 to 100 is you're counting to 100, and then so 101 and forward would be forward. So I don't know. I'm all over the
Oh
place on
yeah,
that one. Somebody's
yeah.
asked me that one before, and I'm like, "I don't know. Don't
I don't
confuse me too."
understand it. Yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
Is it like a personality question?
I
I
think
wonder.
so, but I don't know what it I think it shows that I'm a Gemini because I go both ways. I'm like, "Yeah." I'm gonna be 1 to 99 or 0 to 99, and no, I'm gonna be 1 to and then I'm like, "No, I'm going back to the other one." So I'm like, you know,
Yeah.
twins. My hair is
Yeah.
driving me nuts. I gotta trim my bangs so they're a little bit long. So I'm still looking down through here. I don't wanna miss anybody if they've got some good questions.
Yeah, I see some people in there I know.
Yeah, if you see anything, then, feel free to
Yeah.
answer it.
Um, oh, I need to get to, I'm in the starred ones. I need to get to the live chat.
To the other one, yeah.
Mischief
Portia's in
man, and
here.
she'll get mad at me because I'm going backwards in the questions.
She won't care.
No, I know, but like I'll answer something and I won't really know what's really going on.
Yeah, I do that too sometimes, and she's just like, "Oh," and she gets on to me, she says, "Put them up on the screen." I'm like, I forget." There'll be
Yeah,
she'll be, because 'cause I've got my iPad that sits over here. I've got one of those iPad Pros, the big one, and so it sits
yeah,
over to the side so that she can get a hold of me because I forget to look on the private chat. Because she has to baby me around because I don't know what I'm doing most of the time. But
yeah.
anyway, she'll be putting over there, put them up," and I'm like, "Put what up?" And she's like, "The comments." Oh, okay.
I see Lord Kiss Freak is here. That's cool.
Yeah, Lord Kiss Freak is here.
I
Yeah.
haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah.
He used to participate on the morning show. I told him one time I was gonna make one of my songs, my themes, my
Uh-huh.
outro with Kiss music, and I did. I
Uh-huh.
finally did it, and it's really cool. It's
Oh,
really
wow.
cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a song called Mr. Speed. It's a really cool song.
Mhm. They're excited to see us together. That's cool.
Yeah, that's super cool.
It's kinda like we've got a lot in common and a whole lot completely opposite, you know?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, I have been to jail. I spent 19 hours in the county jail.
You have?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, 19 hours. 19 and a half, to be perfectly honest.
What happened?
It was a I had a newspaper at the time. I owned a newspaper, and I think I pissed off somebody in the court system. And
Uh-huh.
they actually said that I bounced a check that was for $50 or more, and so it was a felony. And but I had wrote the check, but it was 12 years before they picked me up.
Mm-hmm.
And the check did not bounce, okay? I wrote the check at a place at a little strip mall, like a outlet mall in,
Yeah.
this town not too far from us, and that night, or that evening, that afternoon, a tornado hit and blew the whole thing away. They found this check miles and miles and miles away. Well, I mean, and it took a while, but the people that found it eventually got it back to Stroud and took it to the police department. Well, then the police
Uh-huh.
department couldn't find, the people that owned the business, and so they didn't contact me, and they couldn't contact the people, but I guess somehow or another it got in the court system so that if the people ever came forward looking for, checks or anything that they had lost. So anyway, somewhere or another, they tried to say that it was a bounce check, and I said, "Well, it blew, but it didn't bounce." I mean, I didn't do it. But yeah, they picked me up. Do you know that they did a cavity search on me? I said for a 12-year-old supposed bounce check.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Creek County in Oklahoma don't fuck around.
Creek County. Is that close to Oklahoma City?
No, I'm kinda right in the middle, kind of
Oh, okay.
between Tulsa and Oklahoma City. Just almost well, Oklahoma City's a little bit further, but if you get on the turnpike, it feels like you're there in just no time. So, but yeah, yeah,
I
it
had a
was
celly one
crazy.
time. He was from Tulsa,
Uh-huh.
and he used to get the Tulsa newspaper, whatever that was.
Yeah,
And
world.
the crime section in it, we would read that like it was a novel. There was some crazy, crazy things that happened in Tulsa. Like you would read it and you'd be like, this
Oh,
has got to be made up. Like I'd always look at the front of the newspaper to make sure like it's real news, and it was
yeah, make it so
real.
real. Yeah, it's real. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's
It's,
probably way worse now. We had our own show, like that Cops, that kind of a show where
oh yeah.
we had our own for Tulsa, but the city decided not to let them do it anymore because it was embarrassing.
Yep. I remember that. They were doing the first 48 there for a while.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
the murder show, 48
mhm,
hours to solve the murder.
yeah,
And then they were doing like the Cops Live
mhm.
there, and they said no way, it's too embarrassing for us.
It is, it's embarrassing. We loved it, and we thought it might be good, that it might be like, you don't wanna be doing this because you might get your ass busted on TV,
You're gonna get
but
caught. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be on TV, not just, so but yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's ridiculous. It was making the city money.
Yeah.
I don't
I think it
know.
would only be good. It highlights the officers, them doing their job, and um yeah.
Yeah, I thought too. I thought it made the officers look more human and everything too, and we kind of
Mhm.
could understand why maybe they have an attitude sometimes, which some cops are just dicks. But,
Yeah.
but others really do have a reason why they have their attitude,
Yeah. Yep.
So,
I'm super pro cop. I'm never against cops.
mhm.
Definitely against corruption, of course.
Well, yeah,
But
yeah, there's a difference. There's a difference in that.
yep.
Corruption's corruption.
Yeah.
So,
But I've never had a bad uh I've never been I've never had any kind of interaction with a bad cop that's like
yeah.
trying to hurt me, or
Mhm.
charging me with more than what I really did. It's never been like that. Well, one time kind of, but um yeah. But
Yeah.
he ended up taking his life, actually, that
Oh
officer.
my goodness. Oh.
Yeah. Yep.
When they arrested me that time, I it was stupid, but anyway, I knew all the cops and everything because well, for one thing, I was a hairstylist too, and I cut most of their hair. So when the guy walked in to arrest me, I'm like, "You know I cannot cut your hair tonight. I'm putting the paper together. You know I can't do it." He said, "I'm not here for that." And I'm like, "Whatever. I can't do it. You're not going to talk me into it."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Is this you?" And I'm like, "Holy cow." I started crying.
Oh my
Big French
god.
Suzy, and I'm like, "Woo!" I'm just crying like a baby. Because at first I didn't know what it was. I mean, it just said, that there was a check. It didn't say, to where. And I'm thinking, I don't remember bouncing a check. I would have surely known I bounced a check, and I didn't know what it was about or anything. It took us until like it literally was a couple of days before I found out where this check was and what the story was on it. So, but
Yeah.
anyway, when the cop put me in the police car when he's getting ready to take me to the actual jail, to the actual Creek County, because I was just in a little city jail for a couple hours.
Hmm.
But anyway, when he took me, he had me handcuffed and they were loose. And I like handed him the handcuffs and I said, "You might want to tighten these up. They keep falling off." He said, "Oh, geez." He said, "I did that on purpose."
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, that's
He
cool.
said, "I knew you wasn't going to run." And I thought, man,
Yeah.
I could have outran him if I wanted to. He's about, I don't know, 5'2" all around, like
Yeah.
a circle.
Yeah. Circumference.
Yes. I probably could have outran him, but I, wasn't inclined to do it. So,
Yeah.
Mrs. Scorpion Rising said Sam wasn't the interrogation video of Sarah Boone just out of this world.
What's that?
She said, Sam wasn't the interrogation video of Sarah Boone just out of this world.
Oh, yes. Yeah. You know what? That's funny she says that. That was one of the first interrogation videos I seen. And
Oh, yeah.
it was that one. And what was the other one? It was just these crazy kids. They unalived somebody, but the kids were crazy. And this one guy thought he was like the leader of like this mafia type gang, and just these little white kids, And that one got me hooked too. But absolutely, the Sarah Boone one was just, it was unbelievable. It was
Hold on, I'm
unbelievable.
trying to switch out these real fast. Over the damn
I'm actually going to are you okay? Hey, I'm gonna grab a water really
Okay.
fast.
I'm gonna put this back in so I can hear you while I try to find it.
Okay. I'm gonna
Okay,
grab a
I can
water
hear you.
really quick.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm just looking for my.
Okay. Uno momento, por favor.
Oh, if y'all have any questions, just put question in it, and I'm gonna zoom down to the bottom and try to catch up with some of these. Because a lot of at the top, y'all are just talking to each other, which is absolutely great. So, thank you for the super chat. That's very sweet. Goodness. I'm trying to get to the bottom so I can go backwards, which I get in trouble for. But a lot of them at the top was when we weren't even here yet. So, they were just chit chatting amongst themselves.
I just realized like half of my face was like really like shiny and white. It's because I had this big computer on over here to my left. It's much better. I was like, why do I look so crazy right now?
Oh, let's see here.
I see Nicole's here. That's awesome.
It's Spokes Dexter says, I came from Atwood. He had Brett the homeless ass, the the hot mess ass on. Then I went to Reese, who played all the recordings when they. Hold on, it keeps moving. Gosh.
Oh, Spokes Dexter. I remember him or her.
I've lost it now. Crap. I was really reading it. Hold on.
I got it. I went to Reese's, who played all the recordings when they split. She brought Sam on to help her. Stupid game playing, and I love Sam's energy. I appreciate that, Spokes. Yeah, I super appreciate that. It's
Jenny's here. Jenny's here.
Oh,
she
awesome.
wants to know how long you were in prison with Brett.
We were only 7 months, maybe 7 months. Yeah, and I never crossed paths with him again after that. I think he got out shortly after that. He did go to another prison and he got stabbed because of his history,
Yeah.
He said that he was stabbed on accident.
Yeah,
that
like
they got
the wrong
that
person.
never happens. Never, ever happens.
Yeah.
If you get it, you have it coming for some reason,
Yeah. Yeah, I told a friend of mine that has been in prison that, and they're like, real doubtful.
That's super doubtful. Oh, wrong guy.
Crap. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, well, shit the bed. Now I got to do it again.
Yeah, shit the bed. Yeah, the prison that he went to where that happened is a really serious prison.
Oh, yeah.
It's called Victorville. They're super serious there.
Yeah.
They don't play no games. It's and they tell you when you get off the bus, they'll tell you, look, if you have anything that's wrong in your history or your paperwork, don't try to walk this yard. We have a place called protective custody for you, and that's where you need to go. But sometimes guys' ego get the best of them, and they're like, they don't want to go, and really they should have, Yep.
Yeah.
But
he just
people
acts
would
like
really,
it was nothing. He acts like it was just no big deal. That it was, that it was just this. What in the world with this hair, man? But anyway, I'm like, no, it was not just a
it's
a little
hard to it's so hard to understand when you really try to like understand it all, like what's the like the motivation and why continue doing the same things and the weirdness, and it all comes down to this is the bottom line. He's got to be using. I do think he has. Yeah, I do think there's times when he is clean, when maybe he's doing the Suboxone and not using. But I mean, look at all the videos of him snorting, like that one video. There's more than just that one. It's nuts. It's super nuts. And he does like this weird thing with his mouth when he's high, and And I'm just I'm just blown away. I'm blown away.
Yeah.
Um,
I am too, and I mean, he had a good thing going. I think that he could have really, done well if he'd have
mhm,
just stayed with it. But that I think it's the drugs. I think that the drugs, come back into it, and that leads to, other things, and he's got to have more
irrational
money and
thinking.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Calling your buddy, a piece of shit junk, all the things he does
Ugh,
behind everyone's back. He's just so angry all the time. And there's no, if you have, especially if you're saved, if you have God, like there's just no,
yeah.
um, I don't know. I don't want to say no one is angry that is saved, but I do think it instills a gentleness in you that is authentic. You know what I mean? If you're really done, manipulating and conning people, and you believe in God, and that Jesus died for our sins or whatever, or if you just believe in
Mhm.
in a God, and you don't believe in, like,
Yeah.
Christ and the covenant and all the things, you still have, like, you just don't say, we come from love, not hate. You
Yeah.
just come from a place of love, you know. And I thought it was amazing when I first started, hanging out with him online. I had said it to someone. I said I had never heard him say that, or his community. And I said, well, look, man, trust me, I'm coming from love, not hate. That's
Mhm.
I try to do that with everything that I do. And
Mhm.
Tommy's like, oh, you must have heard my thing, that's
I
what,
never heard him say that
that's our motto.
until he got with you.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
I never
Oh,
heard him
wow.
I never heard him say it. I
Oh,
didn't
wow.
watch
Yeah, he
everything,
said
and I
that
mean,
was
there
his
might be
that
100
that was
people.
the lifeboat's motto was, love not hate. Or but so I was like, oh, cool, I'm in the right place.
Yeah.
It's people in recovery, and then the Diddy stuff. And everyone always asks me, why aren't you covering Diddy on my legal channel? I was like,
Yeah.
I'm good. I don't really care.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then, but with him, we were covering it, so I felt I needed to still cover it. And I'm not going to cover it no more. Maybe when he goes
Yeah.
to trial, I might be like,
Yeah.
yeah, look, they had some crazy witnesses on today. But
Yeah.
I don't care about all the back stuff, Jaguar right, and all that,
Yeah.
weirdness that goes on behind, and who's saying who to what, and what lawyers are getting fired. And I don't care about that anymore.
Yeah.
And I mean, never did really, but
So,
yeah.
Neuropsych 93 says, "How did you find sobriety later in life? The percentages
Oh,
against you."
yeah. I would love to talk about that. And I do
Yeah.
have the 2% tattoo, because
Aw.
it's 2% of us that actually get it. And we want that number to be like 20%.
Oh, yeah.
Uh, so when I got out of prison, I was still using. I left prison a junkie, and so I'm in the halfway house. I'm still using in the halfway house, but I'm manipulating and beating the UAs, and just doing my thing. I opened up a tattoo shop in LA. Was when I got out of the halfway house, and then my I think I gave my PO like 25 dirty UAs, and you're usually only supposed to get 3, and then they send you back. But me and my PO were really good friends, and he's like, but he got a new boss. He said, look, I have a new boss. He's a black guy. He sees that you're in a white supremacist gang, and but he sees that you dropped out. He's like, that's all good,
Yeah.
but he needs you to get
Yeah.
sober. No more dirty UAs. And I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be hard. He's like, you got till
Yeah.
Thursday. This is like a Friday, right?
Yeah. See you in 15 minutes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You better be
So
clean.
yeah, yeah. So I called my brother, and I said, man, you're gonna have to lock me in a room, and I gotta get clean by Thursday. And he's got a house in Hollywood Hills, and at the time he lives in Pasadena now. But anyways, they locked me in a room, and I toughed it out and got clean, and it was rough and hard, and I did it. Then in treatment, I OD'd in treatment. And I'd never OD'd before, and I was doing about 5 grams a day. I'd never OD'd before. And in treatment, I was still it was like day 21. I was still kind of kicking. I was having a rough time with like the thoughts and the cravings. And my roommate went out to look for a job. Like at the last part of your treatment, you get to go find a job. And I asked him to bring me back a bottle of vodka. And I drank it, and I got so drunk I was spinning. And whenever I would do heroin when I was drinking, it would even me out to where I, it would like sober me up. So I knew there was a guy downstairs that, had papers of heroin. And I sent my son, I go like, dude, because they called for a group or whatever after dinner. And I had to go to that group or else they come looking for you. So anyways, I had him go get the heroin so I could even out because I was spinning drunk, and it was too much with the heroin and the alcohol. It was too much of a depressive, and it killed me. I have pictures. I was going to get a bunch of pictures ready for our talk tonight, and I didn't do any of it because I got busy. But and I have pictures of me just laid out dead with all the things on me. And I woke up to the office, to the paramedics going, Sam. That's what it was like. I was like, whoa. And I just like sat up, and I was like, whoa. And like, he's like, lay back down. I was like, what's going on? And the one surfer paramedic like looked over me. He's like, you were dead, bro. Just like that. He's like, you were dead, bro. I was like, I was dead. Like I was dead. He's like, yeah, you were dead, man. And it changed my life. I haven't done heroin since.
Wow.
And, since that day. And it's crazy. People ask me, like all my family, my family are so supportive of me, cause they know I don't use my wife's death as an excuse, but it was the catalyst, that led me to drinking and using drugs. Yeah. But my family understands that. They really do. My mom, my dad, all my siblings, they're all super supportive. Anyways, I was scared to tell them about the OD because it was in treatment, to call your family and say, cause I was just telling them how good I was doing, and then to tell them I OD'd. But I did. And my brother Ben, he's like, well, man, did you see the light? I was like, no, man, I didn't see no light, bro. I didn't see no light.
That was the next question I was going to have. I was like, okay, I'm going to ask him if he saw the light.
No, I didn't see the light. But what did happen was...
But you saw the light and changed your life. It wasn't the actual light, but you saw the light as it...
And he was actually asking me, like, and I was like, no, I didn't, but it's changing my life, I assure you. And for like 6 months after that, whenever I would see a fire engine or something, I would just start crying. It was the craziest thing. Yeah. When I do my talk at the treatment centers, I always talk about this, and it's because I'm just so grateful for those paramedics, and it didn't matter. I could, hear the sirens, and I'd pull over to let them go by, and I would just start crying because they saved my life. And it was just crazy bizarre. I just think, I hid my feelings for so long with drugs, keeping them down, because I was a sensitive guy, like not to where I cried all the time, but like I was sensitive to other people's needs,
like an empath.
An empath. And I hid that and pushed it down with drugs for so many years that once I got clean, I was able to like be in touch with my emotions and things, and super, super nuts. And I used to get really embarrassed when I would cry. But I don't now. I don't get embarrassed by it because it feels so good. Why would I be embarrassed by something that feels that good? It's like, it's just cleansing and but I'm not a feminist, like a Justin Baldoni kind of guy, that's, super femmy. like, oh, being masculine is a thing of the past. No, that's not it at all. Like, I love to fight. I love to, do all the
Yeah.
things.
Okay, so this one says, did you ever spend time in Wyoming during your old days, or were you only dealing with Montana?
No, I did a lot of time in Natrona County in Wyoming. It's where Casper is, Casper, Wyoming. My like transfer point was Fort Collins, which is like 20 minutes from the Wyoming border, if that. It's might even be
Yeah.
closer. And yeah, I used to go up to Wyoming all the time. Yep,
Wow.
sure did.
So you
I
were
love
in California is where you were born and raised, right? So how did you end up in Montana?
you down the beach. So I married a girl that was from Montana a long time ago, and she, used to bring me up here, but we ended up getting a divorce, her and I. And I just ended up having some connections up here, some friends that were like normal friends from back in that marriage. And once I started using, this is like a crazy story. A friend of mine told me that he was using too. And when I told him how cheap I could get it in
Yeah.
California, he was like, dude, you got to bring it up here. You got to bring it. And that's how it all started. That's how it
Oh,
all
wow.
started. The judge said that I was in control of the meth pipeline between California and Montana.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't a pipeline.
That's something.
Yeah. More like a trickle.
Yeah. I was looking through here, making sure I don't miss anybody.
Dentist is a gangsta sponge toffee recipe in my channel. James Collin cares. He said, do you see the ones from my stream too? Yeah, they have like a little. Yeah, you should. The messages, like KP and AZ
Probably.
is with us.
Well, it just depends where I'm at on here at the moment. But yeah, let's see here. Boy, there's just so
Yeah,
many.
you must, because I'm seeing what you're
But
seeing.
but seriously, if you see something you want to answer or talk about, go, just jump in and do it.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna start going backwards.
Okay.
Mischief is probably like, no. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Question: if you have the time, look up. Miss Scorpio Rising says, if you have the time, look up T71444 California. I just feel like maybe my loved one. Okay, I will do that. Let me write it down, or I'll just take a picture of it.
Yeah.
Just take a picture. Yeah, and I didn't know this, but Tommy used to say he was an enforcer.
Yeah.
Like,
To hear him
he
talk,
never
he was
said
like
that.
this, like big tough guy, like real.
Yeah, he never said that around me ever, and because he knows I would have shut that down right away. No, he was never anything even close. And knife hoarder, he'll say like, but he doesn't have none of the ink.
Yeah.
If you are at any kind of level, you will have the ink to show that that's where you're from. Not that it's
Yeah.
cool or makes me
No,
cool.
I understand, but it is like a receipt. It's
There you go. It's a receipt, and I am covered in those receipts. Yeah. Yeah.
So where did you learn to tattoo? Did you already know how, or did you learn that in prison, or how did
No,
you
I
learn
knew
that?
how before. Even when I worked at Microsoft, I would tattoo.
Oh yeah.
Like on the weekends on my friends. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I airbrushed this guy's car, and I'm gonna tell the short version of the story. So I airbrushed this guy's car. He wanted me to tattoo the design I did on his Cadillac, and he wanted me to tattoo it on his back. And I was like, I've never tattooed before. He's like, well, I'm gonna get the equipment, and you're gonna do it. He's like, I know you can do it. And I was like,
Yeah.
all right. And he did, man. Like 2 weeks later, he showed up with a box with all these tattoo things in it, and we went to town. I did call a tattoo artist and ask him one question about the machine. And back then, they didn't share that information too freely.
Yeah.
You couldn't go to Amazon and buy a tattoo
Yeah.
machine. You had to know someone who knew somebody. It wasn't unless you used like a gel machine.
Yeah.
And no, he hooked it up, and I killed
Wow.
it. I killed it.
Wow.
But the next 100 tattoos after that weren't so great. You know, it's not easy. I just got really lucky
No.
that first time. I really did. I got really lucky. But you know, it's been 30 years now, and I'm pretty
Oh,
good.
wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty good.
I imagine so. I've got 9. I don't have
9?
a lot, but I have 9, yeah.
You do? Oh,
Yes.
yeah, I do see something right here, like on your.
Yeah, on my chest. Hold on.
Have you had, not to be personal, have you had a mastectomy?
Yes. Yeah, and I can't get rid of this
Oh,
for some reason. I don't know how to.
have you heard
But I
that I
have it
donate
goes
mastectomy tattoos? Yeah.
really?
Yeah, I
Really?
donate them.
That is
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
cool.
I do like 2 a year. Yep.
Wow. Trying to
Yeah.
get rid of that little thing on the screen, and I can't get rid of it. I don't know
Oh,
if
here, I can do it. I can do it.
okay.
I think. No, I can't. That's weird. I put
Oh,
it.
no.
No, I didn't put it up there. Um, that's crazy, right?
Yeah.
There's no hide that
Oh,
comment.
knife orders here.
Knife, knife.
Knife, knife. But yeah, it's a cherry blossom. It goes all the way across my chest and all the way down this side. And then it had 2 hummingbirds on it. It's only got 1 now. They had to do a revision surgery and
Uh huh.
they took my bird. There's if you look, his little beak is left. I'm like, why didn't you just go ahead and take his beak? There's like a little beak. And they're like, well, we couldn't tell if that was a beak or part of the, limb or something on the tree, but I
Yeah.
knew exactly what it was.
Yeah.
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 But I've got that. That took like 8.5 hours and I got it done in Maui. So I sat for 8.5 hours while they did my chest and down my side. Oh,
Awesome. That's
it
so
hurt.
awesome. Yeah.
It hurt, but it
Yeah.
covers my scars and it just makes me feel better. It just
Yep.
just makes
Yep.
me feel
That's why
better.
I donate those tattoos. They're
Mhm.
the they always tip, but
Oh,
I do
yeah.
do it for free. And I do expect a little bit of a tip, but if they didn't, I
Yeah.
would still be okay. Or
Yeah.
else I wouldn't donate them.
Yeah.
But just the look on the women's face after I do it
Mhm.
when they see the artwork
Oh,
is
yeah.
priceless, second to none. It is like the most
Mhm.
um it's crazy. I should find some pictures and share them next time.
Yeah.
I also cover scarring, when girls cut
Yeah.
themselves and like
Mhm.
I also do cover ups of those, like during Mental Health Awareness Month. I'll donate
That's
some of
so
those
cool.
tattoos. Yeah. And I have some amazing pictures of just, like teenage girls that have stopped cutting, and I'll do like like a big sunflower, and they're just like their moms are crying, I'm crying,
Aw.
it's because they something beautiful to cover
Yeah.
something that just reminds them of an ugly time, or an ugly,
Mhm.
you know, time when they were thinking so negatively. I don't know. I
Mhm.
love doing it. I love doing it. If
Yeah.
I was independently wealthy, I would do it for free. I
Oh,
tell
yeah.
people that all the time. If I didn't have to pay bills, I would tattoo for free.
Yeah, I've got my first one was I got it on my ankle and, it didn't really even hurt. I was like, "Mm, that's fine now." The one on my chest, holy shit. And I have
Yeah.
one on my stomach that it hurt. I have we
Yeah. Those
raised
are two hot
Dalmatians at the
spots.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
We raised Dalmatians at the time, and I have a little Dalmatian sitting next to a fire hydrant because my husband was my ex-husband now. He was a fireman.
Mhm.
And so,
Oh,
I have a
cool.
Dalmatian next to a, fire hydrant. Yeah, and it's right on my stomach, and I sat there and I had my hands back like this on the chair, and I just was,
Mhm.
like, jerking that chair. Was just
Yeah.
jerking that chair. I was like, "Oh, shit." I've got 2 on my back, 1 on my arm, another one on my ankle. Well, it's about that big now. It takes up most of my calf on that side.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I've
Yeah.
got
I would love to replace
getting
that
more.
hummingbird. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
I'll,
do
have
these
to come
really
see you
cool.
sometime.
Yeah, that'd be so awesome. I do these really cool watercolor hummingbirds.
Mhm.
Have you ever seen anything like that? Have
Yeah,
you
I've
seen
seen
any of my
that. Yeah.
tattoos?
I haven't seen yours, no, but I have seen
Oh, wow.
some
Okay.
watercolor stuff, but yeah.
Yeah. Every once in a while, I'll show some. Let me see if I
Yeah.
can. find some really quick on here.
The guy that did mine, he's a friend of ours there in Maui, and he's kind of a big deal around there. And
Yeah,
anyway, he freehanded it. He didn't draw it on at
I
all.
was
He
I was
just
gonna tell I was gonna
freehanded.
I wasn't even gonna ask you. I was gonna tell you he freehanded that, didn't he? Yep.
Yeah,
I was gonna say that.
he freehanded it. Like we
Yeah,
didn't.
something
He
like
went,
that.
around. He used my body, the curves of my body, and the curves of the scars and everything, to figure out where to put
Hmm.
it. He said, "I can't do that with a drawing. I'm gonna, He said, "So we're just gonna go." And he goes, "You trust me?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, I trust you. I wouldn't be here."
Yeah,
Which he'd
yeah.
already done both of my feet, so I trusted him.
Oh
I'd already
yeah.
had him do my feet, so
People tell me that all the time that I just met. They can be just a walk-in customer, and they'll be like, "No, don't worry, I trust you." And I'm like, "What? You don't even know
yeah,
me."
you don't even know me.
Yeah, like, okay, you trust me. All right. Let me see if I can find. I did have some that I shared with my audience in a folder. I'm just seeing if I can find that. I have a general idea where it's at. New folder. Dang it. Sorry, this is taking a.
No, that's all right. I can't figure out why I can't make that message go away. I usually just click on it and it goes away.
Yeah, yeah, that's so bizarre. How bizarre. How bizarre.
Yeah.
Just leave live bar snaps, graphics. Man, where are those?
So this one says it's James Collins Cares says I'm sure Calhoun hasn't had an easy time with all of this either and does the best he can. I don't know much about him.
Yeah,
No.
I I'm I'm confused on that whole part of the story. I don't
Yeah.
understand, but I get it. He's your dad.
Yeah. But
I get it. You know.
I was so
Uh,
shocked to find out that he was adopted. He looks just like him.
I didn't know he was adopted.
Yeah, he's adopted,
Here you go.
which is
Um,
bizarre.
yeah, that I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Are you
he is. And
sure?
doesn't he look just like him? Yeah, I'm sure.
I thought he looked just like him too.
I thought he looked just like him. I don't know. Ooh, how pretty.
Yeah, you can present it. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I did that one. But that's
Oh,
like my
wow, that's
watercolor
beautiful.
style. It's a little abstract.
I like that. In fact, I'm wanting to get something on my this left shoulder and back.
Mm-hmm.
However, I'm wanting Texas bluebonnets and maybe um what I'd kind of like to get is something that kind of combined because I'm a painter. I paint. And I'd kind of
Oh,
like to
awesome.
get um something that had like a what is it called? Like a mason jar with some paint brushes in it and maybe some
Uh-huh.
of the Texas bluebonnets around it. My mom was from Texas and
Oh,
loved bluebonnets. Absolutely loved them. And so it would be kind of for her, but then the paint and everything for me. And so
yeah.
and the blue bonnets could even, kind of go across my back. It could be, more. But I don't know because I'm certainly not afraid of of anything large. I would have, I'd cover myself with them if
Yeah.
I could.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely not afraid of them.
There's another watercolor one that I just sent you.
Oh, here we go.
Mhm.
Oh, how pretty.
It's a sea otter. Yeah. I really love that
Yeah.
tattoo.
Oh, it's so pretty.
If you look on the the legs on the bottom, if you look at the other leg, you can see where I forgot to color in
Oh,
the.
yeah.
Yeah, I forgot to pat color. I've done it since then, but with this picture,
Oh, yeah.
this was the first picture when we were done.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm
It's
gonna show you
really
one
cool.
more. Thanks. I'm gonna show you one more. This is on my friend Khalik. Well, we're not too close anymore, but This one's really cool too.
Oh my god, that is something.
You
Wow.
see that pic? Do you see the picture on the wall behind her head
Uh-huh.
of that girl's face?
Uh-huh.
That's my friend who unalived
Oh.
herself. Yeah,
Mm. I
she's
am
all
so
over my
sorry.
show. Thanks. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. I love tattooing.
Oh, I can
I am
imagine.
I am retiring, um, like pretty much right now.
Yeah.
But I'm only friends and family.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Yep.
what I heard you say that before that you were only doing friends and family.
Yep.
And
Which
that
is
is
cool.
so good. I mean, that
Thanks.
both of those eyes and to, have the animal and the human and have it, in the
Thanks.
same thing
Yeah.
because it seems like you would get so in the you'd still be into the one, like either animal or human, whichever one you were doing,
Mhm.
and just
Yeah.
to switch back over to the other one is just wow.
The the tiger eye or cheetah eye, whatever. It's a I have like 4 different colors inside that eye.
Yeah, I can tell just from here. I mean, I'm sure in
Yeah,
person you can
just like
really tell,
with
but
single needle specked some color in there, and
mhm.
even with the human eye, it's like I tried to do like a hazel, but with like a more
Mhm.
of a green. There's like
Yeah.
little tiny white highlight dots that I did for
Yeah,
glare that are
I see the
really cool.
wow. That is beautiful.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'm gonna have you do my bird or do my back or something. I'll go I'll
Yeah,
come see you
I'm
and I'll
down.
just be
Where
like,
do you
"Okay, put this here, put this there, do this,
do
do
you live
that."
in Oklahoma now?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So, Gracie and Matilda Jane's channel is saying, "Susie, please make immature Emma a regular. She's impressive."
Who said that?
Well, Gracie and Matilda Jane's channel.
Why, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
No,
But,
I
I
appreciate
don't know, I don't wanna do, like, I don't wanna, like I don't wanna be a mean girl about it. I don't wanna, just constantly do it. I don't mind doing one every once in a while if it's fitting, if the timing is right and, then I'm thrilled with it, yeah. Aw, we got Nanoff too says, "Susie, first time seeing you, you and Sam are great together." Aw, thank you.
She's one of my regulars.
Nano. I don't know how Nana of 2. Duh, Susie, if you just read it.
I have Nana of 2 and Nona of 4 or Nona to
Oh,
4.
wow.
Like that, yeah.
My glasses aren't the greatest. So I'm, like, trying to struggle to see what it is, and then I'm like, "Oh, well,
I don't
duh."
I don't have mine on either. Everyone always gives me crap about it.
Yeah,
I see Sherry
somebody said
LeBrun.
while
Sherry?
ago yeah,
Huh?
somebody while ago said, "Can Sam borrow your glasses?" And I thought, "Well, if I could hand him some, I got several pairs laying around here."
I got some somewhere. They're not
People are
really.
excited to see Tom in here. They're all fans of Knife Order. He's another one, I was talking to my daughter the other day and I said, "It's so funny." I said, I was telling her about you and I said, "I just absolutely love him. I just think that he is amazing. I really, really," and,
I
very
appreciate
funny.
that.
Somebody said I'm gonna be known as Mischief said now I'm gonna be known as Beaky because I still have a beak on my chest from the missing bird. But,
Yeah.
anyway, I said, "He's amazing," and I said, "I'm crazy about Knife Order," and I said, "It's so funny because, like, we have a lot in common, and yet we're completely different." I'm
Yep.
completely different, and I said, "But I could really see myself hanging out with them." I said,
Oh yeah.
I would be
I
hanging out."
it's been really nice hearing some of Knife Hoarder's story these past couple of days.
Yes,
I've
I think
just
so
really
too.
enjoy it. And my wife's always
Mhm.
like, is that Knife Hoarder talking? I was like, yeah. She's like, I thought all he did was talk about, Tommy and Reese. I was like, no, he's like got a story,
Yeah.
and yeah,
He's amazing. His story is and he tells it so well. He
he tells it
really
really
does
well.
tell it so
Yep.
well.
Yep.
And he's just straight up. He doesn't, take any bullshit. So,
Yeah.
I think he's great. I really do.
I do too. I do too. Yep.
So, oh,
And that's why Reese is like, oh, he's tucking a knife order. He got all my subs. I gave him all those
yeah.
subs. Some bullshit like that. I was
No, she did not give you subs. She
like,
Joe McCoy, he's one of my regulars. He is a ride and die. I just love him. And he's the one that had not seen you before. He was talking about, and he says,
oh,
I have been
awesome.
impressed with Sam. His
Thank
journey is
you.
interesting and looks like a happy ending type of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I have
Joel
a
is
beautiful
a
wife, a
good
beautiful
person.
daughter. Yep. I have 4 daughters. Oh,
Wow.
I thought I just heard one of my daughters come in. Um, but yeah, it's amazing. I would never throw it away for
No.
nothing. For nothing. And I yeah, that's another thing Tommy said because we were like talking about having a YouTube house in Arizona. And I had
Yeah.
told Reese that, and she's like, well, you better hold off on that because we don't know where we're going to live. And, that's when we were going to do the Jester, the big 4 horsemen,
Yeah.
good luck, true crime investigations.
Uh,
I'm new, I'm just like, yeah, sounds good. Let's do it. I know how to
yeah.
edit videos. And what a joke, man. What a joke. And I was just there,
Mhm.
hook, line, and sinker. Yeah. Oh, but yeah, they said that. And then, before the recording was released, we said, oh yeah. And he said he would never be around your brat kid. And I was like,
Oh, I heard that. Well, I heard you say that he had said that. I didn't hear him
yeah,
say
dude.
it, but I heard.
Oh man.
Uh, don't talk
I would
about my kids now.
yeah, I would destroy that dude. The only thing keeping him alive right now is like 800 miles. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
I'd be like, don't mess with my kids. I'll cut you. I'm serious. I mean,
Yeah.
he's
Like
always
my
gonna
wife
hit,
always says,
hit somebody in the larynx. I'm like, buddy, I might have to get a ladder, but I will climb my ass up on a ladder and punch you in the face.
he's never punched anyone in his larynx in his life. Oh my god.
I think
Yeah,
he's a
but
blowhard is the thing. I don't know.
yep.
I just always have thought that. I just always thought, oh, this
Well,
tough guy thing he's I just don't think he's that
he's
big of
got
a tough guy.
absolutely no like violence, or not that violent people are
Yeah.
tough.
No, I
I know
understand
lots
that,
of
but
violent people that aren't tough, but it's not. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
yeah. No, I know what you mean. And I mean, it's not something to be like, you know, proud of, but at the same time, he plays so much of, the whole tough guy image, but it doesn't ring
He said,
true.
yeah,
It
yeah. And
and
he
so I
said
mean, it just doesn't. I don't know.
he was friends with some big mafia guy, and that
Yeah.
he passed away, and then he was friends that he was taking care of the mafia guy's wife, and he was going to get a house from, I don't know, man, that he worked for in Boston,
Mm,
Southie. It's all bizarre.
goodness.
It's all bizarre.
It is it the way that his voice changes when he talks
Yeah,
about all
that
that stuff.
I wish I could impersonate it. I'll have to just clip something. But when he goes,
Yeah.
yes, yes,
I think you do
I
a
got
pretty good impression.
in the New York. I don't know.
I've
It's
been
hard.
practicing. I've been practicing because I bought like one of those bald caps
Yeah.
and a captain's hat, and I thought he
Um,
might be my next one.
if you do that, be prepared for a $200 super chat. I'm serious.
I'm
You
working
would
on
be
how I can do
$200
it.
richer if you do.
Well, I bought the it's one of those that like a wig, but it fits on your head and
Mhm.
you're bald. I want it to look fake. I mean, I want it to look fake because it's a parody. I want it to be silly. But
Yeah.
I'm trying to but I can't do just his normal voice, but I'm thinking I'm gonna work on his tough guy voice. So the whole thing might be, even if he's not trying to be tough, it might be all done in his tough guy voice. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he'll still be Tony Peppermill.
That was so funny. I it's funny one of my first phone calls with him, he didn't hang up, and so it was playing, and not playing, but
Yeah.
it was I could hear him, right, and he was
Yeah.
trying to start like a motorcycle or a lawnmower or something, and he was so mad. I should play it one of these days because I thought it'd still be there. So I started screen recording it because he was just like, motherfucker, motherfucker, and he was like kicking and screaming, and like
Oh my god.
then you would hear the motorcycle try to start again, and he was like, fucking piece of shit, and you hear like, so funny, it's crazy, crazy, dude. And so I told him, I said, dude, what were you trying to start earlier? He's like, what? Because he didn't know, I was like,
Yeah.
you seem upset you were trying to start something. He's like, what are you talking about? I was like, you didn't hang up, and I screen recorded you cursing out whatever lawnmower you were trying to get started. He's like, no, that's my hog.
Oh my god.
It didn't sound like a hog. It sounded like a Honda Rebel, like one of those
Oh
little mini
god.
Honda Rebels.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
I
That
don't
is
know.
so fame. That's so funny. No, I the first time I heard his voice like that was some of these receipts that, got played for me that I won't out. But in it he was
Sure.
saying, "You don't know who you're talking to. You're not talking to Tommy. You're talking to Rock." And I'm like, "Fuck Rock."
Oh my god.
I said, "If he was doing that to me, I would have been laughing."
Yeah.
I'd
You're
be like,
talking to
"Bring it,
Fruity
buddy."
Pebble. Yeah, I'm talking to Fruity Pebble. That's who I'm talking to. Rock.
You're talking to Rock. You're not talking
Yeah.
to Tommy. This is Rock. I'm like, "Oh my god."
Well, who
Yeah.
I he does have a sex charge, and it's pretty awful.
Yeah.
And you know,
Yeah.
if he's out here in the world, people need to know. And
Mhm.
if
Yeah, I
he's
agree.
interacting with people in any kind of business transaction, and technically creating, if you're
Mhm.
technically, I mean, I get, and I just now thinking about this, this is kind of a business transaction, a parasocial one with your
Mhm.
viewers, and
Yeah, it is.
especially if yeah, we get the AdSense for every 1,000 views, I get that, but you're still developing a
Yeah.
relationship of honesty and trust, and um, yeah,
So
yeah.
what's the deal? I had taken a few days off and completely somehow missed out on it. What is the deal with supposedly selling his channel to AI or whatever? What is that?
Oh, yeah, no, here's the deal. So I knew about this thing before
Uh-huh.
before everything came crashing down, and
Yeah.
I'm looking for something, and so basically they wanted to purchase his voice of all the previous content, and it's real. It's a real thing. There's like, I looked it
Wow.
up. There's like 7 companies that do it. They'll buy it in bulk, and so you still get to keep it, but they've bought
Yeah.
the rights to use your voice. And then when he went to wherever he went, I'm guessing he was validating his voice with all of that, and probably signing contracts and everything like
Yeah.
that. So you have to actually speak the voice, and so they can validate. It's all contractual to do that. When we did his voice for the Alice in Wonderland things,
Mhm.
I had to get like so many, like, I don't know, an hour and a half or 2 hours of samples of his voice, and then he had to sign on and validate that that was his voice with his own voice. They
Mhm.
give you words to say,
Yeah.
say bear, say this, say that. So it's validated or whatever. So
Yeah.
I'm guessing that's what happened. He told me it was 220,000 he was getting. Um, and wanted to send me the emails. He's like, I'll send you the email right now. And I was like, no, I'm good. That's when I was still friends with him. I was like, no, I'm good. I don't need. If you say it's true, it's
Yeah.
true, bro. I wish I would have now. but I do believe that there was some kind of deal made for his voice.
But even
And
220,000, that's not going to set him for life, like what they're saying now, that he'll never have to worry about money. I could go through 220,000 really quick.
oh my gosh, you buy a house, pay taxes, furnish it, but
Yeah,
he'll
gone.
never buy a house. But here's the reason why. I'll stay on topic for a second. He told me he's like I'm gonna give him a counter offer and tell him for 250,000, I'll give him another year of my voice or something like that. He had a counter offer, and I was like, dude, I would just why try to haggle with him? You're getting 200
Yeah.
grand for free. Why are you trying to be greedy and get 30 more thousand? But between that time and the time he went and did all that, we were no longer friends.
Yeah.
So that's why when I do talk about it, when I was talking about it, I would say I believe that to be true, that he
Yeah.
did get a chunk of money. Now, having said all that, Reese, before that, when her and I were talking about before she played the video, we were all still
Mhm.
kind of friends. She said that she looked up the company and there was a lot of bad reviews about the company.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know if there were bad reviews, like they didn't pay,
Yeah.
what they said they were going to pay. I don't know what the bad reviews were. And I wish I would have got the name of the company, but I didn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what that was.
I think I'd be
All
worried.
about.
I don't know. I think I'd be worried about them using my voice for something. I don't know. Which I don't have a voice that anybody would recognize, so nobody's gonna pay.
I
No,
love
I don't
your
know. They
voice.
might recognize.
Yeah. Yeah,
They might.
it's
They might want Emma's voice now.
Emma's the shit. Yeah, I want to get drunk with Emma.
Yeah.
if I drank,
Ew. Yeah. If we drank, we'd go get drunk with Emma.
Yeah. Yeah. It's screwy. And then I had to make another video about, because he was like going, thank God I found out who my friends were, now that I've won the lottery, however he says it, or else I would have, been really giving and look, I knew about it all before we decided to come out
Yeah.
with that audio. I knew about it way before that. I don't care about the money, about whatever, pittance you would try to get. He promised me so many things to do this, do that. And, for all the work I was doing, I was producing his show and,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, because I did a new intro for him, that one that was like,
Yeah.
yeah, that was my impersonation.
Mhm. Yeah.
But
So we've got another question from Mindy. Says, are Johnny, Tommy, and Calhoun or Calhoun still streaming?
streaming,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Don't know. I don't know either.
I haven't
I
checked in a
really
while.
don't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm changing. Gracie Matilda says Reese was mean before Tommy, Brett.
Oh
So
yeah.
tired of hearing her say she's changing. Yeah. Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah, Gracie says Reese did mention in one of her lives that you were probably going to do that fox tattoo. Is that true? Never know with her.
Yeah, there was talk of it before. I don't know if she showed it. She must have showed it. I drew her a
No, I
beautiful
don't know if
fox
she has or not. Well, I
for
think
her
she did
logo.
show some.
Yeah.
I
I can show.
I did see somebody was telling me that she is talking to some guy named Mike about getting it done where she's at, but that he's new at it, and so it would be cheaper there. Oh, that's
That's the
beautiful.
fox I drew for her.
That's gorgeous.
Thanks.
Wow. That is
Yeah,
really nice.
that's the one I did for the logo, and then I did another one for her banner. It's the same fox but in a different position.
Hmm.
And I sent it to her, but who knows? It was my last
Not
good
know why
deed.
they're not letting me take stuff off of here.
Still, but you can
Now
add
it got
different
really
ones.
big. I don't know what has happened.
And then
Ah,
I did. This is the one I did for her banner.
oh yeah, that's pretty.
Yeah.
I don't know what this thing is doing. It's all jumping around on my end.
What is?
This I had it on big full screen. I was like, wait a minute, what happened here? See here. Do that. Whoops. Actually, I like that one better, but but no, I don't know about the whole tattoo thing with her. I'm kind of glad that you're not around her much anymore. I worried. I was afraid she was gonna,
Like reel
I
me
don't
in.
know, mess with you. Yeah, really in
Yeah.
somehow mess with you. So I
No.
was like
Once
going,
I
I'm
found
telling
out.
you right now. I told everybody. I said if I was his wife, I'd be like, bitch, back off.
Listen, she did. She
Oh,
she, um she said, because she heard us talking on speaker, a few times, and
mm-hmm.
and my wife loved Reese, and but when she was needing help, she was like being the damsel in distress, the damsel in distress,
Yeah.
and my wife was hearing it in the next room, more and more before the video, and then afterwards we talked a couple of times, and I remember my wife coming in and she's like, "That's it." She's like, "You're not fucking talking to her." Excuse my language. She's like, "You're not fucking
No,
talking
you're
to her
fine.
no more about her needing this or help and her,
Yeah.
And I was like, okay,
No.
I won't. And then,
I won't, I
and then she,
promise. Don't hit me.
yeah, yeah, I'm so sorry. No, but she reminded me of something that, she was right there with Tommy, and she admitted talking a lot of smack about me, saying, "Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he's what'd she say? He's too unpredictable. He says some controversial shit, saying stuff like that, and that that I'm the kind of guy that you walk away from at a party if he starts
Mhm.
talking." She said that,
Mm.
and
I don't
all my
know
friends
how she
heard
would
that.
know all this stuff, but I mean, apparently she didn't go to high school. She doesn't have any friends, so how would she know what
Yeah,
kind of a guy you are?
yeah. All my friends
Like,
that heard it were just like going, they're like, "Dude, you're like the
I'd be the
life of the
one
party,
following you. I'd be the
always."
one following you around being like, "I'm gonna listen to what he has to say. I'm just gonna
Yeah,
sit
yeah.
here."
We have a friend, Rachel, the other day. She's like, I feel like I'm lucky that I know you. And I was like, don't say that, Rachel. It makes me feel weird.
Aw. Here is hold on just a second. Sam, now you know how untruthful Reese is. Do you believe anything you've learned about the jesters? Yeah, that's
That's
interesting.
very good question. Very good question.
Yeah,
So,
that is a good one.
um, because I'm planning on doing a story about the jesters.
Mhm.
I mean, I have a whole 2-part
Yeah.
documentary done. Um, but I'm gonna somehow take her out of it. Um,
Mhm.
because she's not the story, it's the
Mm-mm.
but the but the information gained about them is from her and Tommy, so I might keep some of it in because I don't have any other receipts but what they've talked
Mhm.
about.
Yeah.
So but yeah, but so I've been thinking about that a lot. Like, they said that they talked to some bartender, that some bartender's been, talked to her about the Jester stuff. I don't know if I believe that because of her connection with Brett. The same way Brett got me to make up with him the officer, he's probably telling her, hey, we need to make up this. We need to, to make
Yeah.
the story more juicier. It doesn't matter. They are trafficking, of some sort, and
Yeah.
and abusing those women. That is absolutely happening.
That is. Yeah.
Um, but how they, what like proof they have of that, I don't know. I don't
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Knife order says bartender's as real as Q is.
That's right.
So we have this
Yeah.
one says Sam. Says Sam, did she, as in Reese, apologize to you? I have been watching her, and she says that she has been apologizing to people she hurt.
No, and this is the reason. I think this is the reason because I gave her an out, and
Yeah.
because I said, like, look, if my wife was telling me about because she used to cut hair, work in a
Mhm.
salon, and there was lots of drama that
Oh yeah.
surrounded her. She was never involved in any of it, and that was one of the reasons why I married her. But she, if she would come in and tell me like, oh yeah, Teresa is just doing this, doing that, and I'd be like, yeah, I kind of get that a little bit, or that you support your significant
Mhm.
other in situations. So I did kind of give her that out to not have to apologize to me about it. That she was just
Mhm.
whatever. But in my heart of hearts, um, I do believe that she was malicious about it, and
Mhm.
that it wasn't just her following along. They were just two peas in a pod
Yeah.
talking shit about someone they called their friend, and that was looking out for them, helping them every which way I could.
Mhm.
Like every which way I could. I was helping them. I never got a red cent, never asked for a red cent though. So I'm not saying I
Yeah.
got burned, anything like that.
Yeah.
And
No,
at
I
the end,
understand.
he was like, yeah, just tell me your hours and I'll just get you paid and get this over with. I was like, dude,
Ugh.
fuck your
Yeah.
hour. The last,
So
go
Lone
ahead.
Dinosaur says that there's a news story about them trafficking in Brazil. So you might even look into that too if you're going to do something with the
Oh, the,
jesters.
yeah. They got charged with something down in Brazil, or
Mhm.
I think it was Brazil. Yeah, I do know that story. I actually have pictures from that trip, of
Yeah.
them down there.
Wow.
So yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's a good tip.
Yeah.
Um, I was gonna say something and now I can't remember. Yeah, I can't remember. And then the whole Q thing, that was all bullshit.
Yeah.
I don't
I
know
am
how
so
he
glad
used
you're
that.
away from them.
Oh,
I
me
am just so
too.
glad you're away from him. Ugh.
D-
I really like I didn't watch y'all's show because I was like, this is just another Tommy thing. And
mm,
I mean, I mean, glad that Reese wasn't on there, so it wasn't all just about sex. But I was just like, I'm just not
yeah, how
into it.
weird.
By then I had already heard so much of the other stuff. So I was kind of really distancing myself from anything to do with Tommy, Brett, whatever.
Mhm.
And but then I kept the little bit I would see of you, I was thinking, I like this guy, I like this guy. And so then, like whenever everything kind of blew up, I went over and started watching you, and I've watched everything since then. I just usually lurk or I'm in the replay
Thank
because
you.
yeah, but I'm
I
here
appreciate
almost
it.
every day. I'm there almost every day. If not, then
I
I'm there like
appreciate it.
I might catch a couple of them, in one day or
Mhm.
something. But
Yeah, I
so
really love doing it. It's so much fun.
yeah,
Yeah. The numbers are
I
going down, but I really don't care. I know if
yeah,
it's meant to be and it's gonna click, it'll click. You know, uh, I always can tattoo. I still own a tattoo shop. I can always go.
yeah,
If I'm short on bills, I can always call someone and do a tattoo.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I did my first
Absolutely.
sad fish the other day. Uh, that's
Did
what I
you?
called it. Yeah, and it was like I was like, great, my first sad fish.
Yeah. What did you do?
I, I mean, it wasn't on purpose, of course,
Well,
but I
no,
was
I understand that.
my wife was calling me, so and I was live, so I just put on speaker. I go, "What's up, babe?" And she's like, "These guys are saying it's going to be $50 to $100 more," and I was like, "What?" I was like, "Hold on." She's like, "Don't worry, I need you to send it to me." I was like, "Okay," but we had saved for her
Yeah.
car tent, right? And I'm like, "All right." Well, of course they heard, the audience heard it and they PayPal'd me some money. They
Aw.
asked for my PayPal and, but I already had it in my description of my legal channel.
Yeah.
And yeah, but I was just like, oh
Golly.
great. Now I'm sad fishing. Fuck,
Yeah.
damn it.
I did something kinda like that one day. It's been just I don't know, it's been like a week ago or something, and I don't know. I get so comfortable with my chat because I have the same people. There's always new people or, different ones, but I have a lot of the same people every day, every single day. And I just get comfortable with them. And I was just like, oh, this is happening. Oh, it's just driving me, boo hoo kind of thing. I don't even remember what it was about, but it was something that I was going to have to come up with some money for. And I was like, oh, no, don't send me money. Don't send
Yeah.
me money. That's not what I'm doing. I was just thinking out loud. Don't send me. I'm
Yeah.
so afraid of doing it now. It's just like, oh. But I
When
leave
you
my
did that,
super chats and stuff on there because if they want to, then sure. I'm not against anybody making money, but I don't want to manipulate people into giving me money.
that's right.
So
That's right.
there's a
Because
difference.
it would be easy to do, and that's not to say that our
Yeah.
audience are a bunch of suckers. They care.
No, they
They
care.
care about you, and so like if
Yeah.
it's hard. I seen your show. This is what I found you by your show that you did on the parasocial stuff, or it
Yeah.
might have been a
That's
show
what you had
before
said.
that. And yeah, I think it was a show before that, and then the parasocial one was what made me subscribe. And man, it's just got me freaked out. I'm so afraid to, because I do want this to be, a part of my income, but I want it to
Mhm.
be honest and legit and like
Yeah.
yeah. It's so hard.
I know. It is. I have such a just it's hard. Like you
It
don't
is.
I'm afraid to say anything and you get so comfortable with people that you say things and then it's like, "Oh, wait, no. That was not this." But then it's
Mhm.
almost like you protest too much. I'm like
Yep,
always just scared to
that's
death
the
that it's
same
like,
thing. I've been right there,
so
man.
so I'm
They're like,
and
"Oh,
but
am I being
if I
self-deprecating now to like,
yeah. Yeah.
to
Yeah.
to like make it okay?" I don't know. Just got to
Oh my
keep it
goodness.
real, keep smiling, and just try to like
Yeah.
find cool stuff to talk about. And
Mhm. If they
yeah.
want a super chat, they can. If they don't have to. Like, and I have my Amazon wish list up there, but that was because I literally had about 6 people that asked for it. It was at Christmas, and they wanted to
Mm-hmm.
send me something for Christmas, and so I had put a bunch of little things on there. But the thing is that I also put stuff on there because I only have one. I don't have one that's for family and one, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I have one. And so there's higher ticket items on there, and I'm always telling people, "Don't buy those high ticket items. Those are for Mark. He's supposed to
Yeah.
buy them for me. They're just on there."
Yeah. Yep.
So
A lot of people ask me to do an Amazon wish list too, and
mhm.
I've made it, but I haven't made it public yet. It's just
Yeah.
it's hard for me
Oh,
to
I
do that.
know.
I did make it,
I was
got some
a
stuff for
long time before I
Hazley,
made mine.
but
Yeah.
it's really hard.
Well, I think I'm gonna let you go if that's
Awesome.
okay. I don't wanna
Yeah,
wear
that's
everything out because 'cause I'd like to have you back sometime soon
I would love to be
and just
back. This has
just
been
talk.
lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If you
it's
ever
been
need a co-host, let me know. I'll pop over.
Oh, we'll talk. We're gonna talk.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
But,
Yeah, we could do like,
anyway,
once a week or once,
yeah, sure,
whatever.
whatever. I don't care. I will do whatever you want. I am just
And
here.
you never know, it could take off and we could be the next popcorn planet, you know?
No.
I'm serious.
Tell your wife I
Yeah.
promise I will not flirt with you.
Oh, yeah, no, my wife is cool as a fan, man. She
No,
just
my
knows
husband
that
is too. He's just
she
like,
just knows I'm Captain Save-A-Ho, and,
yeah,
I gotta
Captain
yeah.
Save-A-Ho, yeah. I don't need saving. So
No, I know, that's
I
yeah.
know I'm playing. Yeah. But anyway, guys, it's been great. Thank you for being here and being so
Yeah,
welcoming to Sammy and to all of your audience that is here because a bunch of people are here from your audience, and I'm thrilled to see them.
awesome.
If you want to hit the like and
Yeah,
subscribe,
yeah,
it would be
definitely like
great.
and subscribe, Suzy. She's awesome. Like I found her before she found me, and well, I don't know, maybe I don't know, but anyway, that doesn't matter.
Yeah, about the
Uh,
same time, probably. Pretty
yeah,
close.
she is just so cool and genuine. I just love your
Yeah.
genuineness and your
I
yeah, yep,
Yeah, I
yep.
feel the same way about you. I really do. I mean, you are truly one of my favorite people online right now. I just am
Thank you.
thrilled to call you a friend, and I consider you a friend. And after
I
tonight, I
do
sure
too.
do. We've actually talked to each other. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so, But anyway, I'm gonna let you go. We've went almost two and a
Thank you
half
so
hours. That's a
much.
long time. So I'm
I
gonna go ahead and
know.
pop you off of
I
here
just looked
and
and I was like, whoa.
yeah, it was a long time. But we'll do
Yeah.
this again soon. We'll do it again soon. Get in touch with
I
me and we'll
can't wait.
figure it out. Okay.
I can't wait.
I'll go pop you off of here.
Okay. Thanks,
So
guys.
bye-bye. Hey guys. Wasn't he amazing? I absolutely just think he is amazing. I know Mischief is probably having a coronary because we went so long, but maybe not because she's a big fan of him. So she's going to let me talk as long as I can keep him here a bit. So anyway, thank you. We are definitely going to do this again. My hair is that right here. It grows funky since my chemo. Look, there's a whole section right there that's longer. And those were the same length just a couple days ago. Anyway, so I'm really excited to have you guys here. And we're gonna do this again. I really would. I would love to get with him and like, be a little co-host situation every once in a while. I don't care how often it is, once a week, once a month. I don't care. So we'll just see how that works, won't we? But expect to see him more. And I don't know if I'm gonna do a video tomorrow. I'm thinking I'm gonna spend some time with my husband. We haven't got to spend a lot of time together this week. He works a lot. So one of our granddaughter's birthday was last week, and so I'm kind of hoping maybe we can pop over to their house. And her gift was late getting here, so now I need to take her presents. So I'm hoping that maybe we can do that tomorrow. So anyway, I am going to get off of here. I might pop in tomorrow, or somebody might. You just never know. You just never know who's going to pop up on this channel. So I will talk to you guys later. Thank you so much for being here. It warms my heart. I just love you guys. And see you later. If not tomorrow, then in a day or two for sure. Or in somebody else's live. Talk to you later. Bye.